Of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
It's a Friday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com, the last running point of July. As we are here on July 30th, 2021, Anthony Hartwig with you. And TGIF, we got a great show today. Alicia Auer should be calling any minute, calling us from volleyball camp. So we definitely appreciate her time. Crestview volleyball coach calling in to start the show at 12:30. We'll be talking to Jody Bartlett, head coach of the Fitch volleyball team. And then at 1 o'clock, Cheryl Fico will be calling in, the head coach of the West Branch girls soccer team that we've heard so many great things about. And we are excited for their season. And we keep getting told that West Branch girls soccer is one of the teams in the area to really watch out for. So excited to talk to all three of those coaches on the show today, a Friday edition. And, last Friday of July, August is creeping up. And the next time we talk to you, the official practices of fall sports will begin. Volleyball tryouts, or most of them, start next week. Football starts their official practices, as they are allowed to start technically on August 1st, which is Sunday. But most of them are already going to start on August 2nd, which is, of course, Monday. And soccer and golf is getting started pretty soon. And as we inch closer and we flip the calendar from July to August, we are definitely looking forward to the start of fall season. Also, a little bit on the show today, we're going to recap the 10U state championship last night. New Albany coming out of the losers bracket to upset Highland with a 2 wins yesterday to win the state championship. We got some Olympic coverage to recap. I want to be a little bit proud of myself for the things I said yesterday about the gymnastics all-around final. I think it went pretty well for America. Sinyu Lee winning the gold medal, but we'll get to all that a little bit later. Coach Auer going to join us now on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Coach, is this Coach Auer?
Hi, Anthony. How are you?
Good. How about you? Thank you so much for your time. I know that you are calling us from volleyball camp as we speak. How's everything going?
Yep. It's going good. It's going real good. Girls are working hard.
We inch closer. The official practices and tryouts are starting for you next week. Tell us about your summer and what kind of things you've been doing to get ready for the official start date next week.
Well, usually we hit June pretty hard. We do scrimmages with 4 or 5 other teams once or twice a week. And then July is very much a down month for us. Crestview refinishes their gym floors in July. They have since I started coaching there. So we do a jump stretch class in Columbiana once a week. And that's pretty much all until team camp, which leads right into practice next week.
And, you've been able to have a quote unquote normal summer this year, unlike last year where, COVID-19 kind of made you have a very unique and different summer. And what's it going to be like this year now that you can kind of get back to normal and have a summer that kind of describes normal volleyball for you guys and can prepare you normally for a season?
Well, last year was kind of weird. We weren't allowed to scrimmage anyone until mid-July, which we normally don't do anything in July at all. So we lost our whole June. So when we started in August, we were still able to do our team camp right before season started. So we kind of got our jump start there. But I felt like we were just behind as far as team chemistry and just playing together on the court. So this year, we had a very strong June. We showed up very well at our scrimmages. So I feel like we have that chemistry. And then this team camp gets all the fundamental skills out of the way. So, I mean, come in Monday, I feel like we're going to be ready for games before the games start, which is a great thing. Much different from last year.
I'm sure team camp is also a great way to build some team bonding exercises and get some team chemistry up in the air. What kind of things do you guys do preseason wise to get team chemistry and team bonding up before the season starts?
Well, generally our seniors take charge of the team bonding experience. So they usually have a team sleepover or team dinners, or we've had team movie night in the gym before. So I kind of let the kids take charge of that, especially because I have my own children in the program. I like to step back and just let the kids take charge of the team bonding. And so the seniors usually come up with something good.
What seniors do you have and leaders do you have this year coming back? I mean, I know it was such a successful year last year. And if I remember right, pretty young team last year with a lot coming back for this season.
We graduated 3 seniors. We graduated Molly Emsch, Alicia Flowers, and Emily Boyarko. They were all great players. Molly was, I believe, a 3-year letter winner, so she was a huge spot to fill. This year I have returning Lucy Montgomery, Shelby Rambo, Kendra Greaves, Hannah Cope, Lainey McCurry, and Kendall Fletcher will be my 6 seniors. And then Grace Auer will be a sophomore. And those are my varsity players from last year.
And man, use the 6 seniors. I know you're not unfamiliar with having a big senior class. A couple of years ago, I remember covering 8 seniors on your group, and now 6. What kind of advantage is it to have so many seniors and so many leaders out on the court, and to be able to kind of lean on them a little bit?
Well, it's really cool because my 6 seniors from this year, 5 of them were almost on the court all the time last year. So we have a ton of varsity experience. That was different for us last year. When they were juniors, only 2 of them had played varsity. So the beginning of the season was getting used to the varsity pace, was getting used to that. I mean, once they got on, it was fantastic. This year we're past that. We have all this experience. And Grace Auer is also a sophomore who played varsity last year. So, I mean, the majority of the kids on my court have been playing varsity for at least 2 years.
And of course, fans listening hear the last name Auer and know that you're Coach Auer, and of course, you know you're not unfamiliar with coaching your own daughter either. So, what's it like, that dynamic and being able to still insinuate the coaching with Grace and see her grow from year to year?
Well, it's really cool. When my kids are young, I try not to coach them. I've had some great club coaches, some great middle school coaches, so I kind of just step back. So I feel like by the time they're in high school, they're mature enough athletes that they can see me as coach rather than mom. And it's fun. I feel like when my kids are in the gym, I treat them like every other kid, and I feel like the players know that. Sometimes my kids might get a little bit harder punishment or more expectations just because that's a parent. But I really look at all of the kids as they're kids of our program, and my JV coach, my assistant coach, my freshman coach have always taken the role of, watching my kid play. And if they feel like they move to the next level, they make that decision first before I make that decision. So, I mean, we treat them like every other kid. When they're working, we expect them to work hard. When they're on the court, they need to do their job, and they end up where they should be. So I enjoy it.
Back-to-back district championships for you guys, going for a 3rd in a row. I mean, it's got to be a whirlwind, and I know you guys are not unfamiliar with success, but now coming back for another season, how do you guys kind of stay away from a little bit of complacency and realizing that, you're starting nothing and nothing's given to you just because you've won 2 districts in a row?
The girls are hungry. I mean, they already talk about getting back to Barberton. They don't like the feeling of walking off that court with a loss, and they know that it's a long road to get back there. It's not just skill. It's there's a little bit of luck involved in tournaments. There's a lot of hard work. So they know right now that if they want to get back to that platform, if they want to win our league, if they want to win the district, they have to start from day one getting better every time they step on the court.
And, we've been talking a little bit in the last week with other volleyball coaches and just in the show in general about taking that next step in the area of volleyball. And you've been to regionals quite a bit, and it gets real really quick in Barberton because you're playing these teams from Canton and Massillon that are just seem to be at the next level of volleyball. What kind of growth have you seen from the volleyball in the area, and what's it going to take to kind of get us to that point where we can really call ourselves at that level of the regional contenders?
Well, I feel like when you get to more of the higher populated areas, obviously they have more they have more club teams. They have more national level, American level club teams that are playing higher competition. We have some great clubs around here. We have some great club teams, but we don't have as many. So, I mean, the pool it's just like a small school versus a large school. The pool of kids you're pulling from to make these teams is smaller. So when we play those teams that are from a higher populated area, not only do they, I mean, obviously they're the same size school as us, but they have more of a pool in the clubs that they're playing in, so they're playing at a higher level. I'm going to say not everyone, but I mean, the majority of them can be playing at a higher level. So I think that they see more good volleyball, higher level volleyball year round than we do. I think it's getting stronger here. I think there's more interest. I think more kids are playing club. More kids are, really wanting to play that higher level volleyball. So I think we get closer and closer and closer, but it's tough. I mean, some of those teams we run into in districts they're the real deal.
In basketball, they have the advantage of having a holiday break that's like a week long where they can go and travel to Columbus if they want, or they can go to travel to Cleveland, or some teams go to Florida and play at the ESPN Center and play against really, really strong competition from out of the area. Volleyball, obviously, not a lot of long holiday breaks during the volleyball season, but has there ever been an inkling or an attempt to try to get the teams out of the area and try to play maybe a team from Massillon or Canton to expose the team to that kind of competition before you get to Barberton?
We really haven't. I always do save a scrimmage that I try to get a good team in that's doing well in the postseason before. But our schedule is just like boom, boom, boom. I mean, it's like game, game, game. So the time in between is so small. And we, as a league, travel so far that the time to make more out-of-league, farther away games, I just don't feel like it's there.
And, that's no knock because you got a tough schedule anyway with the area. I know you open up with Lakeview, and that was a heck of a match last year between two really good teams, and that's playing up a division, Lakeview Division 2. So, when you look at that team, first game on your schedule, that's got to make you guys really excited for the next couple of weeks to really prepare for a great match right out of the gates.
Oh, yeah. Lakeview's going to be very strong this year. I know several of their players, very strong program. I'm excited. I think the girls are excited. I mean, a game like that can go either way, especially being the first game. You not only have the excitement, the jitters, the nerves, but then you have this great competition going on. So I'm expecting it to be a fun game. I think both teams will show up, and I think it will be a fun game to watch.
And you talked about your conference, you're adding Garrettsville Garfield to that MVAC tier. Can you talk a little bit about their volleyball program? I know we haven't been exposed to it at YSN, but what kind of volleyball does Garfield bring to that conference, and what do you expect to see from them?
I honestly can't answer that. I'm expecting them to be competitive. I know they have a good track program because our track team ran against them quite a bit, so I know they have athletes there. I don't know much about their volleyball program at all, so I'm kind of going into that one blind as well.
Plenty of time to focus on that, Coach. What are about some new faces that Crestview volleyball fans should be expecting to see contribute at the varsity level this year?
Well, given that we haven't had tryouts or anything yet, I mean, anything can happen. Right. I have a lot of juniors who were previously JV players. They're stepping up, playing hard. I have some freshmen from last year that are really stepping up in this summer scrimmages and whatnot. I do have a freshman. She's actually the youngest of a volleyball family. We have Abby Emsch coming in as a freshman who is measuring at 6'2.5", and she's been playing some competitive volleyball. So I expect some big things out of her, as well as the other underclassmen that are moving up.
There aren't too many communities that support volleyball the way that Crestview does. I remember last year when it was limited fans, they had to exit the gym after the JV so the varsity fans could get in. I mean, it was one of those situations where it's hard to keep Crestview volleyball fans away from that gym. Now, knock on wood, that you get kind of full capacity back again. How exciting is it to really get that community back supporting you in person, and to be able to feed off the energy of that crowd that you guys get in that gym?
Oh, I'm excited. I mean, so many times the girls asked last year, can we please have a student section? Can we please try to get fans here? And we couldn't. I mean, it was out of our control. And so I'm really hoping that with my seniors being vocal, being excited and loud, and I hope that they invite their friends. I hope the friends come, and I hope we can bring that student section back. I know we have great parent support, great community support. So yeah, I really hope we can get a lot more faces in the gym this year.
And you've been doing it for a while. What is it about the Crestview program? I know you played for him too. What is it about it that you think is just so easy to keep coming back and so easy to keep doing what you do?
You know, I played many, many years ago under the great Judy Gregory, which I always reference her because, I mean, she started this all. It's always been fun. We expect a lot out of these kids, but it's a very positive environment, and they know that they're coming in there, they're going to work hard, and they're going to feel good when they leave the gym. Like they're going to get they're going to get rewarded by their success, by the amount of energy, time, effort that they put in to practices, to games. And it's just fun. It's just, we have great kids. I mean, great coaching staff. It's just a fun environment to be in. And we spend a lot of time in the gym, and they do work very hard. I mean, Monday morning, the first thing we do is we meet on the track, and they're all dreading the track, but they can't wait for practice to start.
You mentioned already the JV coach, the assistant, the freshman coach. I want to give you the time to kind of shine a spotlight a little bit on your coaching staff, because I know they put in a lot of work just like you do, and sometimes the staff doesn't get as much light as they should. So talk about your staff and what they kind of bring to the program.
Well, Mackenzie Cross actually went to Crestview. She played at Westminster, and I've known her since I was an athlete at Crestview. She's very positive. She's very knowledgeable about the game. She's just really fun to be around. The girls just love Coach Cross. She has 4 boys, a very busy life. So we don't see as much of her in the summer as we would like to, obviously. But the second she walks in the gym, all the girls are super excited to see her. And she's just very knowledgeable, fun person. We just all love Coach Cross. And she's been coaching with me for a long time. Sarah Finch is our freshman coach. She, I believe, went to Louisville and played a little bit in college. And she is also a math teacher at Crestview. Sarah is phenomenal with the freshmen. She can take a group of 6, 7, 8 and just really hit hard on the basics, teach the kids what they need to do, get them ready for the next level. I always look forward to getting kids into the freshman program because it's a really specific time where she takes them and works on skills that helps them become stronger players. So that freshman to sophomore jump is pretty big because of the time that they get to spend with her. So that's always cool. She's a great coach. This year, our varsity assistant is actually going to be Casey Landsberger. Casey played for me, I want to say 6 years ago, I believe. When she was a senior, we went to district finals and made it to regionals. That was kind of like a very exciting season. Casey brings a lot of energy, enthusiasm. I'm super excited to have her back on board. She had been coaching middle school in the past, but her work schedule had made it so she couldn't she was actually a Beaver local middle school coach, and the drive was too far for her. So I kind of scooped her up, and she's going to be our varsity assistant. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, I love that we're continuing the trend of Crestview volleyball with the coaching of the generations, because I know in years past, Coach Gregory has helped you out, and we've seen Coach Baker help you out, and you coach her, of course. It's fun to see the generations of Crestview volleyball be on that bench, and I'm glad to see it continue.
It makes me happy. Like, I love to see that they love volleyball, that it's become something that they've kept in their life. Coach Baker may pop in and out at times this year to help out as well. She's very busy with her 5 children, and I completely understand that. But yeah, I love that it's a part of them that they want to carry on and be a part of it too.
As long as she brings some of that Baker's Dairy milk, then
the kids love that.
You talked about the freshman team. A lot of schools that are the same size as Crestview are not privileged with the numbers to have a freshman team. how proud is it for you as a coach and the lead of the program to be able to say that you do have the numbers to put together a freshman team, and you can clearly see the growth of interest in volleyball in your community?
I credit a lot to our junior high program for that. Their job is to teach the kids the game, but also make them love the game, like make it fun. Cindy Straney is our 8th grade coach this year. She's been coaching since I was in middle school. And Diane Campbell will be our 7th grade coach. And then we have some assistants that'll be helping them out. Miranda Barnett, who used to coach JV and coached 8th grade for me, and then Bree Cope, who was also a Crestview player. So, everyone on our staff is a Crestview person except for Sarah Finch, but she now coaches at Crestview, so we consider her a Crestview person. But I feel like our middle school program really gets the kids interested, and then it just kind of takes off from there. And obviously, it's year by year. Every year we say, do we have enough for a freshman team? And if we can get 7 solid kids to make a team, we're going to have that team. I'm very fortunate that Crestview supports that, and that we give these kids that opportunity, that one more year to get stronger so they can potentially make that JV varsity team.
Before I let you go, I do want to highlight one of your players that has always just impressed me so much, in Lucy Montgomery, because I remember 2 years ago she was one of your setters. Didn't really get to hit a lot. Last year, we got to see that Lucy Montgomery can swing and can hit really well, and actually hits down the line pretty well, which is something you don't see a lot at this level. Talk about her growth from last year to this year even now, and the things you're seeing that might excite fans of her to say that, she's going to make even more strides from junior to senior year.
I'm honestly, Lucy has grown so much as a volleyball player. She's always been athletic, always been strong, but she's become mentally tough. And she has expanded her game from setting a 5-1 2 years ago when we went to regionals to becoming a hitter and running a 6-2 last year. I think it adds a whole new dimension to our team to have those 2 setters and 2 hitters that are so strong in their positions. I'm super excited for Lucy. She's actually not at team camp this week because she is in Florida at a volleyball camp, looking towards her future. So we definitely miss her this week, but I'm super excited for the season. And if you look, I'm in a position where I have some great hitters, and we have Lucy and Grace setting. So it's a great combination. Our defense is coming together. It's really, I'm very excited for this year. We have Shelby Rambo back. It's going to be her 4th year on varsity. She's bringing some power. She's getting a really high block. Kendra liberoing. I have Hannah and Lainey. Like I said, it's a really nice team dynamic. They all know their rules. They know their jobs, and it's a great group. I'll say that a million times. I really like these kids.
Coach, we are just as excited as you are. We can't wait for August 21st. Crestview, Lakeview, that's a great way to start the volleyball season. And you might see us down there for that game, because we are just as excited. Just as excited as you for the season to start, and Crestview volleyball is one of the highlights of the area. So good luck this season. Thank you so much for taking the time out of volleyball camp to give us a call, and we look to talk to you again real soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anthony. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. That was Coach Alicia Auer of the one of the storied volleyball programs in the area. You talk about Crestview coming off of back-to-back district championships, trying to get back to Barberton again and take that next step. She talked about her players having that bad taste in their mouth and not wanting to walk off of Barberton again with another loss. And it's a daunting task. The Canton and Massillon teams that end up getting there, they're legit. And she talked about it. They have a lot of club teams in that area that just play national and statewide club tournaments. And it's hard to kind of come and compete with that. But as we grow and grow more, and Crestview gets more and more experience, returning 6 seniors this year, we definitely hope nothing but success for them. We will take our first break of the day. On the other end, we'll keep it on volleyball and talk to Jody Bartlett, the head coach of the Fitch Falcons. Don't go anywhere on Running Point.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Welcome back to Running Point Friday edition on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. You heard from them in that break. If you're in the market for a new or used car, make sure to head over to our good friends at Greenwood in Austintown. We certainly thank them for being a wonderful sponsor of not just this show, but everything else that we do at YSN. We couldn't do it without the wonderful sponsors that we do have. If you want to partner with YSN, it's pretty simple. You go to ysnlive.com, find the advertisement tab, and then follow the instructions from there. And we will get you set up with some ways that we can kind of help promote you guys, and you can help us. And it's a great way to advertise for your small or large business. There's a plan for everybody with YSN. So make sure to check us out if you're looking to market your business. So we are waiting on the phone call from head coach of the Fitch Falcons volleyball team, Jody Bartlett. And as we talk to Alicia Hour in the last half an hour, we're going to move from Division III all the way up to Division I in Fitch, and every sport that we talk about, whether it be basketball, volleyball, softball, baseball. Division I is just a different animal, and Fitch kind of runs into that too. Very good volleyball team, but they're put into a district with a lot more scope, a lot more geographic spread out, because Division I's a little bit smaller, so they have to run into a lot of good teams just in the district. It is very hard to get out of a Division I district in our area. You're talking about teams like Massillon Perry, teams like Massillon Jackson, teams like Green, teams that make it very hard to get out of the Northeast District in Division I. Fitch is going to try to do that this year after falling to Perry in the district tournament last season. But Fitch, one of the best volleyball cultures in the area, when you talk about how much emphasis and excitement and kind of attention is put on their volleyball program compared to their other girls sports. You know, and in most schools in this time right now, it's kind of a softball run girls sport world, where a lot of the players in the school system put softball as their first sport. And in Fitch, it's kind of flipped on its head. You have a lot of girls in that Fitch program that are going to high-level volleyball camps. We saw Jocelyn Jordan this summer go to a Pitt volleyball camp. Pitt is a top 10 team in Division I, obviously ACC champion, and won some tournament games this last normal volleyball season. So when you have players that are legitimately going to Power 5 camps, then you know that program in itself is taking volleyball very seriously. We are so excited to continue our coverage of Fitch volleyball this year. We enjoyed going to a lot of their games last year. It was a great atmosphere. Their games with Canfield were incredible. We saw them play Mooney. We saw them play a couple of Maslin Perry. Was a great game in the regular season. It went to 5 sets. And, my future co-host, who's going to be on the show on Monday, by the way, Ty Bartell, is going to have the plan to cover a lot of Fitch volleyball, as he's already covering Fitch football, and he has kind of made that interest to cover their volleyball team too. So we look forward to that. And joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline is Coach Bartlett. Coach, how are you today?
Good, Anthony. How are you?
Good. We definitely appreciate you giving us your time, and we know as we get ready for the season, time becomes more and more crunch. So we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So as we start the official practices on Monday, and I know the tryout system is about to start for you guys, talk about your summer and kind of some of the things that you guys have been doing this summer to prepare yourself for next week when reality hits and that season gets ever closer.
Yeah, our girls have done several camps throughout the summer, which has been really good. They've had an opportunity to play some day camps in Maslin at YSU, and then we did our team camp. We actually went to Toledo area for that, so they've had a lot of opportunities to play together, which has been good. Try and get us ready. We've been holding open gyms, for several months, and a lot of the kids are involved in clubs, so some of their club seasons actually, just wrapped up recently. So they've been busy working hard to get ready.
A unique situation for you guys because you lost a handful of seniors that were really important to what you do, but you're also returning a lot of really promising players and a lot of varsity experience. Talk about kind of what the expectations should be for volleyball this year at Fitch.
Yeah, I think obviously losing that group of girls, was a big hit. We had great players that have left us, but we have a lot of really strong underclassmen that are stepping up. We actually have a big group of seniors this year. 4 of them returning varsity players, who they have a lot of experience, and they're definitely going to, I think they're going to do a great job. I'm really confident with them being able to, hang in there within the conference and give some teams some good competition.
And you have a very tough schedule every year, and I'm sure this year is no different. Talk about some of the things that you're going to go through this season that will prepare you for what we hope will be a long tournament run.
Yeah, we've definitely been able to add some really good teams. Highland Medina is one that, we'll see them in season again this year, which is great. They're a great team. We actually had to play them at team camp, and they're always tough. We usually go to Maslin Perry for a try match, which is, always really good competition. So those are matches, we're excited about continuing to have this year and to help us get ready as we, continue throughout the season and head towards the tournament.
And try matches are one of the things that we couldn't see last year because, the COVID rules said we couldn't have more than one team in the gym at once, and summer looked a lot different. So now that you get a season that's a little bit back to normal, a summer that's a little bit back to normal, what kind of advantages does that give you guys to get ready for the season and then navigate the season that's a little bit, back to normal?
Yeah, I think definitely just being able to play multiple teams at once and, the endurance that the girls have to have and the stamina to continue and play so many matches and sets, in one day. I think us being fortunate to be at as many camps, day camps and our team camp this summer are definitely helping us to build that endurance to continue throughout.
And you talked about all the camps you've already gone to this summer, and it's got to be really good to build team chemistry. And we know communication and chemistry so important in volleyball. So what kind of things has the team been doing to kind of build that team bonding and build the chemistry within themselves?
Well, and definitely our team camp, because when we went to that, they spent a couple of days together. It was actually near Toledo. They got to go to the Toledo Zoo, do some zip lining and some cool things together that was good for some good team bonding. And some of these girls are real comfortable with one another. They played together for quite a while, but we do have some younger girls stepping up. So I think, those experiences and opportunities for them have been great to give them time, not only on the floor, but also outside of the court to continue to build that bond.
We talked about it before you came on. Fitch volleyball culture is just a little bit different than a lot of the other schools in the area where you have a lot of players that have picked volleyball as their kind of primary sport. They're going to big camps. They're going to, big club teams. what kind of advantage does it give you to have that kind of culture in your program and to have kids that are multiple sport athletes, of course, but also have kind of latched on to volleyball as the one they're really focusing on, the one they really want to kind of grow themselves in?
Well, it definitely is a huge advantage, and especially the girls who are able to participate in club ball. That gives them the opportunity to basically be playing almost year round. And some of the level of competitions that the girls see, I have some that are playing on national teams at some really well-known local clubs, which is awesome. So, that of course only helps us as they come in and work with us and can kind of share with the other girls the experiences that they're having.
Jocelyn Jordan kind of introduced herself to the world last year with what she did on the varsity level. And this summer we've seen her at camps at Pitt and other big name colleges. And what should fans expect from her to kind of take the next step and for her to get better from one year to the next?
Yeah, she definitely, from freshman year, she has stepped out there and done a great job for us and played with confidence and continued to improve each year. And I really see her stepping into more of a leadership role this year. I already have seen it from her from when we first started open gyms, and I just see her leading the rest of the girls and bringing the team together, and she just plays with such confidence. And we're looking at her position. She was a middle for me for the last 2 years, but she's been playing outside for me, 6 rotations, and she's just doing a phenomenal job. So we have really high expectations for her this season.
We said at the top, you did lose a handful of seniors that were pretty important to that program. And then you lost Emma Bartlett, who's your setter. I know tryouts haven't started yet, so the shape of the team isn't exactly a clear picture yet. But when you look at setting and how important setting is, do you have a kind of an idea of what setting is going to look like now that, you lost that senior?
Oh, yeah. Last year, of course, Emma, was our main setter and ran the floor and did an awesome job for us. But we always knew, if something happened and if Emma were to get hurt or we needed a sub, I had Erin Burke, who was my second line setter. And anytime I needed her last year, she went in and did a great job. And so she has stepped up into the role as our main setter this year. She'll be running the 5-1 for us. And she does a great job. And Sammy Mystic, who usually is a DS for us, she also can set. So there may be times that you see her setting as well.
Fans might not remember, but I believe it was a tournament game where Burke had to come in and set pretty well for you guys, and you guys won a thriller. And that might have been her jumping into the water a little bit and getting that experience coming into this season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and she definitely has built a relationship with the girls she played with last year. They're comfortable together, which is huge. And her and Jocelyn have a great relationship. Her and Alyssa Leskovic have played together for a lot of years through club ball, so that bond definitely helps.
And Division I, like we said before we had you on, is just a different animal in volleyball, and the district is so tough to get out of. What kind of things do you think have to happen in Fitch this year to take that next step and to maybe get out of the Northeast District?
Well, and I always stress to the girls, defense, it starts with defense. So, we're always working on being the best blockers we can be, which, we know defense starts at the net, and making sure our girls are getting into their proper positions and transitioning quick. And, that's our main focus. We know that we have to play defense and pass well to be able to run that quick offense.
And, last year, one of the great matches of the year were the two with Canfield. What a rivalry you guys have, the two programs. Talk about what it's like to compete with that and some of the excitement for that matchup to come back around this year.
Oh, yeah. Canfield has always been our biggest rival. From the time, the girls have been in middle school, they're always a good team, give us, a great match. And, same thing this year. We know that, no matter what, when we come up against them, it's going to be tough. And, they have Abby Householder, who's just a great player, strong hitter. So, we know she's definitely one of the biggest threats that we're going to have to work hard to defend.
And you've been in the volleyball scene in the area for a while, and the overall growth of volleyball in the area has really taken strides. And what kind of things have you seen, not just from the high school level, but the club level, and the growth of volleyball in the last decade that maybe give you hope that some teams outside of Fitch, but other teams in maybe lower divisions can take that next step and compete with these teams that are coming out of the Canton and Massillon areas?
Yeah, I think just trying to get the girls involved early, that's the biggest thing. If, a lot of schools in our area here, we don't really have a lot for the younger levels. And I know we have tried in the past through our youth camps to try and get some of the 5th and 6th grade girls together. And Marlington area, the head coach at Marlington High School actually would do like a younger kids tournament. And I had taken girls there several years. We haven't got to do that with COVID. We were unable to do it last year, but I think if we can get them involved early, get them, familiar with the sport and learning a little bit about it, it makes a huge difference when they come in middle school to help prepare them.
And when you're unable to do that, how important does that make the 7th and 8th grade years to get those girls developed and ready for when they step on the court as freshmen?
No, it's huge. If they're able to have that experience, there's a dramatic difference. And I know parents see it. Parents at the middle school level, if they have a daughter who was involved in club as a 7th grader and then they see them in 8th grade competing, you can definitely tell those kids that have that club experience, it stands out. During club, they're just getting so many more reps and so many more sets in a day. And obviously, more touches is only going to help you get better.
And, it's interesting as we continue that conversation, I think between maybe junior high, JV, and varsity, volleyball might have the biggest steps in competition, like step ups from, how fast the varsity game is compared to JV. And talk about that and how you see your JV players kind of have to develop and get used to the next level and the speed difference between the varsity game and the JV game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, at the varsity level, we're so much more focused on running that fast offense and, having to be quick on defense. A lot of times the lower level girls, it's just serve and pass. That's the main, if they can serve aggressively and they can serve, receive, and pass well, then they're at least able to put the ball up to hit it. As they progress and get older, we see, those passes come quicker to the setter, those setters, pushing the ball faster to the hitters. So, and it is a big transition. The kids, if they play JV and they sit the varsity bench or have to step in, it's definitely a big adjustment for them. If they're setting the block or, for a middle player having to follow the hitters, it's definitely a big step up as far as speed.
It obviously makes the JV coach's job important. I know you have a wonderful staff. Take the time to kind of highlight the coaches that you have working for you and the things they bring to the program.
Yeah, I have Tori Chiera, who has been with me for a few years now, and she just does a phenomenal job. And she's also a teacher at Fitch, which is real helpful because the girls know her and they have that relationship with her. She does a really good job of, making sure that those girls are transitioning and that they are, understanding the offense and defense and, that they're focusing on the fundamentals. And we just recently we have a new freshman coach this year. Her name is Morgan Donathan. She actually was a player at Western Reserve, and she's a college student now going into education, and she's doing a great job with our girls. And then we also have at the middle school level, we have Lexi, who was down there for us last year. Lexi Rice, it was Egler, who played at YSU, so she's got great experience. And then we just added a new middle school coach. Her name is Alex Ferreira. So, I'm real confident in my staff. They do a great job. And then I wanted to mention too, Vincent Smith. He's a parent volunteer who helps out, also does a great job with the girls. So, yeah, definitely couldn't do it without them. I'm very appreciative of everything they do to help me and to help our program be successful.
You guys at Fitch also have one of the best strength and conditioning programs across your athletics department. What kind of advantages do you see when you see how conditioned and how strong your girls are, maybe at the end of a volleyball season compared to some other teams that you might come up against?
Well, that's absolutely huge. I mean, adding Daniel Wedding to our program, I think, is one of the best decisions Fitch ever made, and not just for volleyball, for every sport. And, I mean, he is one of the hardest working coaches I have ever been able to work with. We're so fortunate to have him. And he has our girls, at the end of the season, they get a 2-week break, and then they're right back at it, and they're lifting 2 days a week in the off season all the way up until we start. Once we're in season, those girls lift 3 days a week. So it's pretty much all year round. And I've seen a big difference as far as increase in vertical and just their overall strength. So we are very grateful to have him.
At Fitch, you have a big atmosphere venue, and knock on wood, you're gonna have a full capacity crowd this year. How excited is this program to finally be able to see physically the backing that you get from the community and to be able to feed off the energy that crowd can bring at Austintown Fitch?
No, we're so excited for it. The girls have already talked about that, and even just having their friends, just other students to be able to come in. That was so hard last year, not being able to have, people there to support them. We of course were able to get some people in. Thank goodness, we were grateful for that, but not our typical season. So we're super excited for that. And something in addition, I was really excited about. We were able to get our stat board for volleyball. So we have our record holders on a nice board out in the foyer area in Fitch. So if you come to a game, you definitely check that out. We actually have a couple of the seniors that just graduated, Emma Bartlett and Kate McGuire, made that board. So Jocelyn Jordan's name is on there. So really, that's something awesome. And former alumni players that I plan to reach out to, and hopefully they'll be able to stop and see a game and see their name on that board.
And you've had a lot of players in the program that have gone on to play at the next level. Even some of the seniors that graduated last year. What's it like as a coach to kind of see the players go on to that next level and kind of reach some of their volleyball dreams that they've been working for so long?
It was so exciting to see so many of the girls from last year, sign and commit to go to schools. And I know it's coming up soon. They're all going to be leaving here within the next couple weeks to go to their schools. And I think they're really excited, and I'm excited for all of them to see what they're able to do at the next level. And I just think it's something that volleyball's been such an important part of their lives for so long. So I'm excited to see them be able to continue that through college as well.
And before we let you go, just the Fitch culture that we talked about and the Fitch volleyball culture, what do you think is about it that makes it kind of so special to be a volleyball player at Fitch and kind of feed into that idea that volleyball is taken so seriously there at that school?
I think, the girls, they have fun doing it, number one, which they have to enjoy it or they wouldn't do it. And it's become so much of like a family atmosphere. I mean, these girls are all so supportive of one another, and they're so accepting of their role in the program, whether they're a starter and a main player, or if there's somebody who's, a backup for someone that I have on the bench ready to go in. Those girls have, accepted their roles and supported their team at all times. And I think that's why we've been so successful.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to call us today. We are so looking forward to the season, so looking forward to our continued coverage of Fitch volleyball. We wish you the best of luck, and we will talk to you again real soon.
Thanks for having me. We'll see you soon, Anthony. Take care.
Jody Bartlett, the head coach of the Fitch Falcons volleyball squad. And man, it's funny how the mind works, because volleyball has been so long ago. We went through a basketball season and a spring sports, baseball, softball season between then and then. But as soon as she said Aaron Burke, the image of that tournament game clicked into my head. And I remember that, Emma Bartlett couldn't play in that game, and Aaron Burke was kind of thrown into the water of, this is a big tournament game and you're setting up full rotation for the first time. And to watch her kind of develop on the fly and be able to put her team in positions to win that game in dramatic fashion, be able to win, I believe it went 5 sets, was very impressive. And what more experience could you ask for? It's going to be a brand new setter replacing a senior that is a record holder that's going to be on the record board in the Fitch foyer. And you're not coming in blind. You have tournament experience from the year before, and that's got to be a huge confidence boost to be able to tell yourself that, I can do this at this level and I can lead this team. And that's going to be big, because setting is so important in volleyball, and we expect big things from Aaron Burke. We expect big things from that whole team. And let me tell you, Jocelyn Jordan now moving to an outside hitter should scare everybody, because as a middle, she was great, but you're not really going to be versatile as a middle. You're going to be in the one spot. You're going to be a blocker, and most of your attacks are going to obviously come from the middle of the net. Well, now you can move around a little bit as an outside hitter, and you can really get creative with how you use her. So you add her height, which you can't coach, her this natural ability to swing, and then her velocity with her swing from the outside now instead of the middle. That should be very, very scary for teams that have to play Fitch. And she talked about the Canfield matchup. It's going to be real fun this year when those two teams lock horns twice. Don't sleep on Boardman either. Boardman was going to give them a great game. They actually beat Canfield last year once, so Boardman's going to be a very competitive team. That conference is going to get Fitch ready for the gauntlet that is a Division I tournament, where they will see multiple teams from the Massillon area, including Massillon Jackson, including Uniontown Lake, including Massillon Perry. So they're going to be well represented. They're going to be well well conditioned and well prepared for that tournament run. Don't go anywhere, because at 1 o'clock, we are going to have the girls soccer head coach at West Branch be calling in. Cheryl Fico will join the show. We've been hyping up West Branch. We've been told from other people that we need to hype up West Branch girls soccer, that they are poised for a very special season. And as we continue to cover West Branch and dive into West Branch athletics, we are so excited to kind of hear from the girls soccer coach and hear what is going to make them so special this year, and maybe some people to watch out for in that season. And as we continue our coverage of soccer, we had 2 soccer coaches on yesterday. It was a pleasure to hear from them, and 2 great soccer programs, and the Boardman boys and the South Range girls. And now we're going to continue with the West Branch girls soccer coach coming up at 1 o'clock on Running Point. Also on the show today, we are going to talk a little bit about the Olympics from last night, a little bit about the all-around final in gymnastics. I want to talk about Mexican softball, because they are kind of in some hot water. They put themselves in a situation that has had a lot of Olympic athletes from Mexico, and a lot of the Mexican Olympic officials not exactly too happy with the way they've conducted themselves. I know a lot of those players, and I'll kind of give my take a little bit on what went down, and what way to look at what went down with that national team, who finished 4th in the standings in the Olympics and lost 3-2 to Canada in the bronze medal game. We will talk about the Muscle Connection High School football preview tonight, and we will also hopefully be able to get DJ Oakley in a little bit to have a conversation with him about some things that are going on at YSN and some of the exciting things, and have a conversation with him as the show goes on. Friday edition, last Running Point of July, as when we come back on Monday, it will officially be August 2nd, and Ty Bartel will be in the co-pilot seat. We're so happy to have him aboard, and as we talked about, he will be a voice of a lot of Fitch athletics, and of course he was last year with the football team, and he did a great job with basketball. He's always the big game Bartel is what we call him. So we are excited to have him aboard on Monday. Stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for much more as we continue the Friday edition of Running Point on YSN. We'll take a quick break, come back, and get you ready for West Branch girls soccer. Cheryl Fico joining the show on the other end of this break.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Jimmy Sutton here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and 2 of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms. It just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
If you're looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle, why shop anywhere else but Tri-State Ford? Choose from our great selection of pre-owned vehicles. Plus, we've got you covered with our exclusive Tri-State Ford Advantage. It includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty with your pre-owned vehicle and much more. Come see why so many customers from the Tri-State area buy their pre-owned vehicle at Tri-State Ford.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Welcome back to the Friday edition of Running Point on YSN. We are patiently awaiting the phone call from Cheryl Figo, head girls soccer coach at West Branch, who has had a very busy summer. They've had some friendlies that we see on social media. They've had just wrapped up their soccer camp, and they've also been able to have some clinics for soccer youth, which I'm very interested to talk about, because one of the things we talked about yesterday with Boardman head coach Eric Simeon and South Range girls soccer coach Kelsey Melnick was the fact that there's no junior high programs that are school sanctioned. So you really have to develop the youth with clubs and clinics and things like that. And West Branch obviously taking the initiative with having clinics for kids in the first grade and the first through fourth grades, and building the soccer up from an early age. Has got to be an advantage for their program, and one of the reasons why their program is so well respected in the area. So we're going to talk to her a little bit about that, a little bit about the standard of West Branch athletics. You know, you walk into that gym with all the state championship banners and the success that their girls programs have had, not just with their basketball team, but their softball teams, their soccer teams. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and a lot more with Cheryl Figo in just a bit. West Branch girls soccer coach, once again, coming on at 1:00. So when we talk soccer, and one of the things that we're going to kind of expand on is we have more soccer coaches next week. The expectations of fans in the area when they go to watch a high school soccer game is very interesting, because usually the soccer that you see exposed on TV is going to be the national teams. You don't see a lot of MLS on TV yet. Hopefully we get there. You know, you usually have to get the subscription packages of the streaming services to get your professional soccer leagues. But you get the national teams, and the level of soccer at that is just ridiculous. And so when people watch that, they're casual fans of the sport. They go to a high school game and they realize it's not there. So maybe how do we fix that? How do we kind of bridge that gap? How do we make soccer a little bit more fan environment and more popular, not just to the players, because the players, of course, are growing soccer at a very fast rate, because we are not too far removed from a time when a lot of schools had it as a club sport, not a officially school sanctioned sport. Now we're seeing soccer programs pop up everywhere, from small schools to big schools. So the players are growing it. But how do we grow it from a fan's perspective? How do we grow it from a spectator's perspective? And as we talk to more and more soccer coaches as the season goes on, it'll be really interesting to see their take on how we do that, and some strategies to kind of make soccer fun, not just for the players that are playing it, but also the people that want to go and watch it. And once again, watching a soccer game in person at this level is a special thing, and I encourage people to do so. As we go back to the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline to talk to Coach Fico from West Branch. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good to hear from you, and we are excited to hear from you. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, my pleasure.
So we have been told by many people in the area that West Branch Girls Soccer is one of the programs in the area that we really have to keep our eye on at YSN. Special program. What is making things so exciting coming this fall about this program, and what are you so excited about?
Well, this fall, we have a great group of girls coming back this year. Last year we had, I believe it was about 12 or 13 freshmen on our team last year. So last year was kind of one of those years where we really wanted to kind of get them on board and get them, intermixed with our high school program. And now these girls have a year of experience under their belt and are coming back, and we're really excited about that class. And as well as we have, the seniors and juniors as well in place. And I think this year will really make us a pretty competitive team. And then going forward, so for probably about at least the next 2 seasons foreseeably for certain.
So when you talk about, we've talked to a couple a lot of soccer coaches earlier in the week, and they've talked about building the youth programs and being able to get kids developed. What's the West Branch game plan? I know you've had a really busy summer with clinics for the youth soccer programs. What kind of things does West Branch do to really build the youth soccer in the community?
So we do have the Sebring West Branch Soccer League does a great job at the recreational level, getting the youth into soccer, starting with the under 6 age group. So there's a local option available to the families in the West Branch area, and then once they get a little bit older, we do have we've historically had travel teams in place for both the boys and the girls side that have either competed over in Akron or they've competed over in the Youngstown area. Right now, we're going to have our middle school girls will be playing in a new league that's kind of like a coaches league over in the Youngstown area this year. And we've got a nice turnout of those. So like you were saying, the development of the youth program is very important for a successful high school team for sure. And we have gotten some of our younger players involved in some of the clubs. So they've gotten a lot of really great experience, even above travel experience, playing with their clubs, and that also translates very well once they become high school players.
Talk about the club scene in the area and how much it helps the program, and to be able to have players that aren't just playing on your team, but then going in the off season and playing with club teams and getting the reps on the soccer field.
Oh yeah, for sure. I always say that the more club players I have on my team, the easier my job is. But it is, there's some truth to that. And at West Branch, honestly, we do love our multi-sport athletes as well. So we're not just all about club soccer players. We have a lot of basketball players on our team. We have a lot of track runners on our team as well. And then we do have the handful of girls that just really love soccer, and they do commit to playing club year-round. So we do have some of them that are over at clubs out of the Youngstown area. So there's some that might be playing over, I think there's some at SBA, there's some at MVS, there's a lot of acronyms. Then we have some that play more up towards Akron and Cleveland as well. So we have a couple that play for the internationals up that way too. So all of that experience against top-level competition just really does develop them as very smart, aware soccer players.
Talk a little bit about your summer and how it's a little bit back to normal compared to last year. I've seen you've been able to have a few friendlies with other teams, and you've been able to have a summer that's back to normal. How much that means for a soccer team to be able to do the things that you're able to do this summer?
It's been a great summer. We really start. Everything is obviously optional until we get into August, but we've started offering more things. Usually after the 4th of July is when we get more into our friendlies. We enter some showcases. Tomorrow, actually, we'll be traveling up to Kinston to play in a showcase up in Kinston. But we've been able to train, too. So the Ohio High School Athletic Association was allowing us to train the players more this summer than what we had been able to do pre-COVID, which was nice as well. So with some of those restrictions being loosened, we've been able to get great training sessions in, getting the girls starting to work together to be at a point where they're getting comfortable positionally with each other, and just getting a lot of great work on the ball this summer. It's been nice.
And conditioning is so important in soccer with all the conditioning that goes into that sport. What kind of things do you guys do to make sure that the conditioning is there come the start of the season?
Yeah, we do have fitness standards for the high school girls coming into season, so they know particularly what they need to be able to do from a fitness standpoint during that first week of August. So a lot of times, honestly, we give them opportunities to kind of do practice runs of their fitness tests during July. But if they realize that that's something they need to work on, we kind of put that on them as a responsibility to get in the time, maybe out on the track or out on the field doing their sprints, whatever they need to do to get their conditioning in place. And to be honest, what I've found is that playing soccer is great conditioning for soccer. If you want to be able to play a whole 80-minute high school soccer game, you better be out there practicing playing soccer on a full-size field where you have to run around and be active for a lot amount of time. So just playing the game itself is great conditioning for the girls, and it's also a lot of fun.
You said it, a lot of returning players from last year, but still a pretty young group. Who are some of the people you're going to lean on to be emotional and verbal leaders out on the field for you with a pretty young group of girls?
No, for sure. We have one of our seniors too. We award a junior captainship. So we have one junior captain who then carries over into their senior season, and that will be Addie Jones. She is a phenomenal soccer player, definitely someone to watch. And we rely a lot on her leadership on the field. We also have several other seniors. We've got Katie Kent, and we've got Kirsten Hoffman, who are there, and they're very supportive, very encouraging teammates, and they would be leaned on a lot of times probably for the emotional support factor as well. So those are some of the three girls that are coming up into their senior season that have been with us all 4 seasons. And then as well, some of our juniors obviously are starting. So, the transition from sophomore to junior is kind of when you start to realize you're really more of an upperclassman and looked on as a leader. So those girls will continue to develop as we go through the season this year too.
With so much experience coming back, does that make your job a lot easier to know that, you don't have to be scared if you're putting someone in a situation because they've been there before?
Yes. I mean, we do turn over certain key positions. Most of our offensive unit, we graduated, 2 of the 3 forward players last year. So we do lose most of our goal scoring. I think those 2 girls were our first and our second leading scorers. So we will be backfilling our offense this year, but we're comfortable with the girls that we have coming in. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of learning and growth at the beginning of the season, but we have some great options there. And then we did graduate our goalkeeper, so again, that's another very, very important position. It's a mentally challenging position to be goalkeeper. So we're really working to get our goalkeeper situation in a great place and making sure they're comfortable and they're confident when they step on the field.
And we know that not everyone can be a goalkeeper. It's one of the mentalities that you can't coach. So what goes into a great goalkeeper's mentality, and what kind of personality type does it take to be back there and to be a trustworthy goalkeeper?
Well, we talk a lot about resilience. So being able to let go of things and not dwell on things if something happens that's out of your that maybe we didn't want to happen. So especially as a goalkeeper, you can't get down on yourself if you let a shot in that maybe you think you should have saved, because there's still more game to play. So I'd say resilience is definitely one. The other big thing that we look for in goalkeepers is their communication. So they have to be a vocal leader. They need to be assertive and authoritative and really help because standing in the back of the net, they can see the whole field and help organize. So we do look for strong communication from our goalkeepers as well.
And when you look at the sport right now in the Olympics, of course, it's on such a national stage, and we've seen the growth of girls soccer, especially girls soccer, because of the popularity of their national team. What does it mean to you as a coach to kind of look back and see the last 10 years, the growth of the sport and the recognition that girls soccer is getting?
I think it's great. I was up watching the Olympics this morning, and they went into penalty kick overtime shootouts. So, I mean, the level that the United States women have been able to achieve has been amazing for promoting the growth of the game for the girls in the U.S. I know when I played soccer a long time ago, I had to play on a boys' team. Up until my junior year of high school was when we got a girls' soccer team. So just seeing the growth of it from that point up to now is amazing. And then the quality and the numbers of girls you have playing has also grown dramatically. So before you might have had a handful of pretty good female soccer players, and now you can find whole teams of very competitive, very strong girl soccer players. And as a person who really loves the game of soccer, it makes me happy to see. Also, I get excited kind of about this. Just the availability of soccer to be watched on TV, especially on the women's side, has really, really improved too. So the girls have these role models on the field that they can see. Man, they play really great soccer. I want to be like her someday. And you can actually watch it on TV now, which is something that was not always the case.
That's one of the things I want to talk about with soccer. The availability for a casual fan to watch, when they're watching soccer, they're watching the highest level you can possibly watch, because really the only soccer that gets the national coverage is either the national team or maybe the professional league. And then they go to a high school game as a casual fan and they realize they're not there. I mean, what would you say to a casual fan of soccer to kind of change their expectations of going into a high school soccer game?
Yeah. I mean, we don't have the same. I would love to have the same level of play here as the women's national team, but it's always a growth process. So what I would just urge, as a fan, sometimes you can find that high school soccer in a way could be more exciting to watch. Sometimes you get really high scoring games. You get a lot of back and forth. You get a lot of risk taking because they just want to go out there and they want to play hard and they want to try to win. Whereas, sometimes in the more professional level games, they're more organized. It might be a little more methodical. It might be at times a little bit more tactful, obviously more tactful, and at times it's a little slower in pace. And the high school kids usually just go out there and there's a lot of end-to-end action. If you get a competitive game where two teams are more evenly matched, you can get a lot of end-to-end action, lots of goals. We saw maybe 12 goals scored in one of our games last year. That's an amazing number of goals. So it can be, and the other thing I would say about high school sports is just the community aspect of it. We really get the community involvement and cheering for the school and the local team, which is something you don't see a lot of times at the club level. It's really a bonus of the high school and the community leagues.
I mean, one of the things we've realized covering West Branch is their community really supports their athletes, and they travel well. I mean, it's not just home West Branch games. You go to a West Branch away game, and sometimes you'll see more green in the crowd than the home team. I mean, talk about what it's like to have the community backing that you do at West Branch.
Oh, yeah. We do have a strong community support. We had our parent meeting the other night, and I was just telling them, how grateful we are to have all their support. They prepare meals for the girls before every game. They're there for them, whatever we ask of them. They're there to support us. The school is very supportive of us, and the parents of the team would, like you said, they travel with us, they feed us, they take care of us, they cheer us on, and they're just there for us no matter what. So in the West Branch, we have created, that culture where we've had success, and I think that also draws in other spectators and maybe other casual fans to come watch our games as well.
Yeah, and you nailed it. We'll also learn really quick the standard of success at West Branch. You'll walk into that gym, and you see the championships on the wall and you go, well, okay, especially with the girls sports, you say, this is real. I mean, what's it like to have that standard of success, and how much does it raise the bar for you guys to really keep not just competing with the team across from you, but kind of competing with yourselves a little bit?
Right. Yeah. Yep. We do. We luckily, like you said it too. The girls at West Branch, and the boys as well, but the girls at West Branch, they do really hold a high bar as far as athletics. So you do get the kids that come in and they want to work hard and they want to keep going and they want to be successful and they expect to be successful. But they don't. But they understand that they have to work for it too. So there are a bunch of kids that they want to be successful and they want to put in the time to be successful. So I'll have kids. I'll be like, oh, you guys have worked so hard this week. Maybe we should take tomorrow off. And I'll have a handful of kids that say, no, we want to practice. We need to practice. So those are the kind of kids, that we have on our team and that as coaches just love to have, because they always want to keep pushing themselves and pushing their teammates to get better.
You said it before, a lot of multiple sport athletes at West Branch on both girls and boys. And in some schools, that might cause some friction. I want this athlete, but you never see that with the West Branch coaches. They're always willing to share athletes. What's it like working with the athletic community at West Branch and being able to kind of work with the other coaches and share so many athletes like you do?
Yeah, I think we keep our lines of communication open. We have a couple girls on the team that are multi-fall sport athletes. So they might be bouncing between soccer and cross country or soccer and golf. And it's just the coaches realize that we just have to work together to make everything as successful for the student athlete as we can, and to be respectful of both sports. So it's a give and a take. If you want, as a coach, we just know that there's times where we have to give the athletes their time to go to the other sports, and there will be times when the athletes will come to our sports. So it's a balance, and it's walking that tightrope with the lines of communication that we have between the coaching staff makes it all very possible.
Talk about your schedule this year and some of the challenges that you guys will be facing as you go through the schedule of 2021.
Yeah. We have a pretty competitive schedule this year. Of course, we have all the teams in the EBC, so those are always important for us because we're looking for our 8th conference championship in a row here. So we don't take any of those games lightly. But outside of conference, we start the first week of games. We have Howland, we go up to Berkshire, and then we have Boardman. So we have 2 big Division I programs out of the Youngstown area just in our first week of play. We also face Canfield, which is one of these teams in our division as well, Division II, that we seem to face once, if not twice, every year, possibly in tournaments. And that's a great rivalry we have developed with Canfield as we've gotten more competitive with them. Then we also have Fitch. Kenston is looking to be very strong again this year, so we'll play Kenston. Poland, we go up to North Ridgeville. There's many more, but those are just some of the ones off the top of my head that I know are going to be, those are going to be games that are going to have to come in and be ready to play.
8 straight conference championships. That's an eye opener right there. Does it get harder as the years go on to kind of carry that mantle of that target of 7 straight, 6 straight? Then now you're at 8 straight, and you know that the league is gunning for you so hard because every other team wants to end that streak. Does it get harder as the years go on, as more and more years get added to that streak?
I feel like it does put that target on you for sure. And other teams, they're like, man, if we can just knock off such and such, then that's what we want to do this year. So we know a lot of teams will come into our games pretty excited to play us. So we just have to keep our focus in place to be able to hold on to that streak and keep going forward like we have. Nothing lasts forever. I'd love for it to keep going as long as it can, though.
The other interesting thing about 8 years is that's not just we had one great class that came in and dominated for 4 years or whatever. That's sustained excellence. Talk about what that takes and what it takes to go past just one good class or one good group of girls that comes in. You have to really sustain the standard.
Yeah, no, for instance, not last year I think we had about 16 years. The year before we had probably 11. So after we graduated that class of 11, where a lot of them were starting in their positions on the field, you know, you kind of come into that season like, you know, how is this going to shape up? But too, I found that the girls realized that they need to step up into that space that was just vacated by the graduations, and they're ready to work and ready to prove that they can carry on the tradition. So that's where, whenever I think that we might potentially be on a little bit of uncertainty with who we've lost and how we're coming back up, the girls manage to. They work hard. They step up into the roles we ask them to take, and then we just keep going from there. And we bring, you know, it's just bringing the freshmen in, getting them experience, whether it's through the JV the first couple of years or whether they move right up into the varsity squad, but getting them that playing experience, getting them into our system, making sure they understand the standards and the expectations, and then just seeing the growth that they have over the next couple of years in the program is a lot of fun.
And I'm sure as a coach, it's got to be really rewarding to have seniors that understand that it's not just how good they are this year, but how good the program is when they leave it, and to be able to build leaders for the next year. So you're not wondering how your juniors are going to handle that.
Right. Yeah. I remember actually last year at the beginning of the season when we had that huge freshman class, I pulled the seniors aside and I was like, look, a lot of your job this year is to get these younger ones involved and get them up to speed with, you know, what we're doing here, and really, you know, have the program in a place that will keep going in a good spot once you guys are out of here. So, and they accepted that role. You know, one of them would say, you know, my job here is to make everyone around me better. So it's not just about me, but it's about making everyone on the team around me a better team, because one great player on a soccer team against 11 on another team isn't going to cut it. So it really is about the whole team development and growth.
And you talk about team development. I'm sure summer is so important with team chemistry and team bonding. And I just saw the team breakfast on Twitter a couple of days ago. Yep. What kind of things do you guys do to make sure team chemistry stays up and the bonding stays up?
Yeah. Like I said, we've been fortunate that usually the girls are great friends. Every once in a while, whenever you get a group of 30 girls together, you know, you have to work through some growing pains. But what we incorporate in with our team is we do really try to stress that if, as our coaching staff, if we see any issues, we usually are pretty quick to respond to them. Be like, hey, look, you know, we need to sort this out. We're on the same team. Let's work together. We do a lot of fun activities. So I graduated from West Branch. And my coach at the time from West Branch, we had a preseason party where we did skits by grade level. So that was something that I brought back when I became a coach about 5 years ago. So by grade level in August, we all get together. We have a team party. Someone else has a swimming pool. We have lots of food, games, and they put on these really silly skits that are just hilarious. And each class, grade level, will perform for everyone else. We do all kinds of things like that. We have fun activities at practice that we incorporate team building activities into our practice as well. So it's about getting better at soccer, but also it's the enjoyment process of being there and enjoying being with your teammates that helps keep the team bond together.
Before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to talk about the coaching staff and your support system, because we're interviewing you, but I know that the staff doesn't get nearly as much limelight as they should, and you wouldn't be where you are without the staff. So talk a little bit about your coaches and the people that support you.
Yeah, no, for sure. So my right hand man is Coach Zach Dean. He is I believe he's a couple years out of high school. He spent his first maybe 3 years out of high school helping as a volunteer assistant with the boys program, and then he came over to the girls program last year. He helps me with everything. We bounce ideas off of each other constantly, all kinds of administrative tasks. The girls really, really enjoy him. And whenever he walks by, they're like, "Oh, Coach Dean, hey!" You know, I don't get really the warm reception that he does, but they do. They really enjoy working with Coach Dean, and he does a great job. He's played multiple positions in his soccer career. He has served as a goalkeeper at. He actually plays goalie for one of the indoor teams I played with. So he has knowledge in goalkeeping and particularly in the defense. So he is crucial in helping with some of our goalkeeper training, and then also he manages a lot of our defensive practice preparations, and he is the head coach of the JV team, so he manages the JV team rather independently. So he, like I said, just a great individual to have on the team. I couldn't thank him enough. And then we also do have like a volunteer goalkeeper coach that comes in and works with us maybe once or so a week, and that's Coach Bach. She is a very excellent goalkeeper, so it's wonderful to have her knowledge. She's also part of the track coaching staff, so she's around the school and she knows the students well. So having her on board with us is just a really nice added bonus that our goalkeepers can get one-on-one training at least once or twice a week, and have those moments coached what they really need. And then, the whole school, Mr. Helm, he's great. Open lines of communication with him. Miranda in the athletic office helps keep us on schedule. The facility staff is always great to take my phone calls and help me out when we need things fixed on the field, or the grass needs cut, or the lines painted. They always take my phone calls. So all that support. The boosters, I shouldn't forget the boosters either. The boosters are super active in supporting the program as well. So we have a great support staff for our soccer program over here at West Branch.
I apologize for keeping you, but your answer kind of popped another question into my head, which is, what practices in soccer? What's a perfect West Branch soccer practice in your mind? What do practices look like? Are they drill heavy, or are they kind of working on set plays for corners, or what's a really good practice for West Branch soccer kind of look like?
For us, and this my coaching vision has evolved some over the years. I've found that I really like a lot, not as much drilling. We've really scaled back on our drilling per se. It's a lot more of structured, or playing, but with like certain objectives or certain targets or certain spaces. So we just adjust either the objectives of the game, or the space of the game, or the numbers of people playing in the game. So a lot of it is playing based. I found that the kids, number one, they enjoy playing a lot more than they enjoy drilling. And number two, playing the game translates into playing a full game, and better than a drill would translate into preparing them, maybe necessarily for a match. So we have gone, more heavy on our play-based practices. That also incorporates a lot of fitness. You don't have as many kids standing around for a drill. They're all actively engaged in playing the game of soccer.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us today. It was great to hear from you. Good luck this season, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
For sure. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Coach Cheryl Fico of the West Branch girls soccer team joining us. That was a really interesting conversation about a lot of different things, not just the program, but the growth of especially girls soccer in the area, and how much the national team kind of contributes to that. And we brought up the interaction with the casual fan, and she makes a great point. High school soccer might not be as fine-tuned or as technically sound as what you'll see on TV with the national team or professional soccer, but it can be a lot more exciting because it's back and forth. If you get a competitive high school soccer game, end to end, you might see a soccer game in high school end at 5-6, or like she said, she scored 12 goals in a game. That's not something you see a lot in professional soccer. So, I mean, maybe if you're a soccer purist, you wouldn't like that. But if you're just a casual fan trying to get into the sport, that back and forth mentality of a high school soccer match might be just what you need to dive into it deeper. So don't be afraid to give some of these high school soccer programs a chance this year, especially with us getting back to full capacity, normal crowds. We've talked to a couple of great coaches already. We'll continue to talk to more and more coaches, as the season goes on. There are great soccer programs in the area. So definitely, on a weeknight, go out to a field under the lights and see some of these great soccer programs, and maybe circle some of the great matchups between programs that we've already highlighted, and see a competitive soccer match, and maybe that'll get your casual fans diving into the sport a little bit more. We'll take a break, and we will be right back with more Running Point Friday edition on YSN.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
60 years ago, Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods began with 3 siblings, a hand-set sawmill, and a few local orders. And while business has certainly changed over the years, what has not are our principles of hard work, craftsmanship, and commitment to quality. At Baird Brothers, we're proud to put our name on the products we create, from moldings and doors to flooring and lumber. Thank you for 60 great years. We look forward to 60 more. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live and at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live.
Resigned from the basketball
we
club,
are
but I thought he was
YSN.
staying for softball.
News doesn't stop after the sun goes down. Sometimes you just have to hustle to get it.
As he should have been.
At 21 News, no matter how far it is, no matter what it takes to get there, we're working to bring
I'm
you
sure
the best
his,
stories and the freshest content
the way he
at
acted
11
in that
p.m.
final
with the
game didn't help
context
his
and
cause.
clarity that makes it worth staying up for, no matter what time it is. 21 News at 11 with me, Aaron Simonek, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 11, news that's worth your time.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealthadvisors.com. Good luck, athletes.
Every customer has a story, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back to Running Point Friday edition, as we are joined by DJ Yoakley as we continue on the last Running Point in the month of July. August is here.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And I'll tell you what, Ant, people waited the entire month to break some news here. As you've been on the show, we've had some breaking news. The Astros, the Youngstown Astros, started their Palomino tour down in Laredo, Texas, and they got a 1-run victory to start.
Yes.
Temperatures, I guess, are 99 degrees down there, so a little bit warm, but they got the win over Brownsville, Texas, I think. So they'll play at 5 o'clock tonight, our time, the Astros, and the stream is available on the Pony League website, so you'll be able to watch them as they play.
Is it like a double elimination kind of thing where
I'm pretty sure. I think so. I don't want to speak out of turn. I know that it might be round robin, until they get to it, but I don't know. I don't know that for sure. I know they got to fit a lot of baseball into a tight, compact, timeline. So, congratulations to our Astros, who are well on their way, at least one game on their way to a world championship. And wouldn't that be awesome?
Our very own Billy Mack, also in Texas.
Billy Mack's in Texas, along with all our guys. I mean, you look at these are the guys that we've covered each and every game throughout the entire summer. So, congratulations to them, and man, it'd be nice to bring home a world championship.
Before we get into some stuff that happened on the national stage, I mean, you were at the state championship last night, and New Albany came out of the losers bracket, won 2 games in a row. How kind of shocked were you when that happened? I mean, was it one of those things where you kind of went in expecting Highland to come in and take care of business, and all of a sudden didn't happen the way it was supposed to?
I mean, Highland was undefeated to that point, and they were filled with no joke Millers and Yoders, and they're a team that was dominantly Amish and Mennonite, or I don't know the difference of the two, so I apologize. But if you've ever played a softball level, you understand that they play at a different level than everybody else, and the kids are better than some of the adults sometimes. So I expected, I really didn't know what to expect. I hadn't seen them yet. And people told me that this one young man, Bo Yoder, was legit. And
what a name.
His real name's Boaz, Boaz, Boaz Yoder. But he was being affectionately called Bo. And I'll tell you what, kid's a real deal. Like, you could tell he had some jitters. But I also think, Ant, that they had 2 days off, and it didn't really help their case. Like, they were on a roll, and sometimes rest is good. But in the case of Highland, I think that rest was unfortunate for them. And I'm sitting there watching New Albany play tag, and they were warming up on another field and kind of losing some energy. And I'm thinking to myself, what are they doing? And then you realize they're 10,
right?
And it doesn't matter, and they're just having fun, because Williamsport was supposed to, or not Williamsport, the Cincinnati team, Hamilton was supposed to beat them, handily, because that's what Hamilton does. And New Albany felt like they were playing on borrowed time, and they were playing on house money. So they got past Hamilton, they got past Highland that first game. And what was weird was both coaches were kind of like looking at each other like,
did that just happen?
Like, what do we do? Because Highland had really nobody left that they could utilize, and New Albany had to use one of the pitcher that they were going to use in the second game to close out the first game. And things could have gone really, really bad and really sour for New Albany had they not brought in Cole Mahler, because they had an 8-year-old on the mound who was just he was on the struggle bus, man. And he's been my favorite player of the entire tournament was this young Elliot Troutner, 8 years old, playing shortstop, leading off for his team at 8. Everybody else is 9 and 10, and you're 8, and a young 8. It was, he was smaller than everybody else, but he didn't back down from anybody. And he ran into some trouble on the mound as an 8-year-old would in a championship setting, and they had to bring in Cole Mahler to finish it off. So that scratched him, because you can't, even though as soon as you pitch once, you can't pitch again that day.
Right.
It's like 20 pitches or 25 pitches, and you can pitch the next day. But as soon as you pitch that first game, like, you're done for the if game. But New Albany knew that they had to get to that next game. If they want a chance at the championship, you're playing 2 games no matter what. Highland, I don't know why they kind of left I feel like they left some on the table. They didn't score for like 4.5 innings, and then all of a sudden, they were taking care of their business. It was air. They were on. They were over. They were in, and all of a sudden, it was once a 7-0 game was 8-7 in the sixth. And you're like, oh boy, like this is going to be good. And then the same thing happened in the second game. It was 3-0. And then in the bottom of the sixth, it was 3-2. And you're like, what is happening? They had runners at second and third and 2 out. And, unfortunately for them and fortunately for New Albany, a little dinker over to the right side. First baseman picks it up, steps on the bag, and you got state champs. It was awesome. For 10-year-olds to play baseball, you see why it's so important. Because it's not about the scholarships. It's not about, professionals. It's about playing for the love of the game, playing with your buddies. And you're just so happy for these kids because, especially for New Albany, they faced a lot of adversity through the tournament. They lost early to Hamilton in a walk-off. And they got to beat Hamilton on the backside of it in the semifinals. And then they beat a really good Highland team in the finals twice. So
we talked about it off air. When you win that first game, you're playing with house money in the if, because all of a sudden that team coming out of the winner's bracket has all the pressure in the world that they didn't have in that first game.
Yeah, and I think the way they won it was important because they held on. And sometimes you can win 7-0 and the other team goes, all right, we're just gonna, move on. You've already checked out of that first game, you're on to the second game. Like, New Albany ripped out the hearts of Highland in that first game because Highland thought that they were going to make that epic comeback win. And going into the second game, you could feel it was a defensive game for about 3 or 4 innings. Then Highland scored 3. And then, we're able to go, I think we went back-to-back like 7-pitch innings on both sides. And then on the 6th inning, it was Highland that came back and scored 2. And you're like, oh my gosh, like Highland came all the way back again. Is New Albany going to let Highland win this in walk-off fashion? And from my standpoint, like, we don't have a horse in the race. I'm just a fan. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, the ratings are tremendous.
Right.
2,500 people tuning in for a championship baseball game at 10U level was awesome. But you sit there and you go, oh my goodness, these little kids. Some of these kids are not going to want to play baseball ever again because their heart is going to be broken. But the sportsmanship was phenomenal. And again, Boardman Community Baseball in the Field of Dreams and everybody there, Chet Cooper, and everybody in the Boardman. I mean, Chad Miller, Greg and the whole staff over there, they do such a good job. And people were just clamoring about how nice it was there and how many fields. And they only used 2 of them, but they were beautiful fields. They were awesome. And the food was good. The hospitality was great. So hats off to Boardman.
And you talk about the sportsmanship. I saw that like firsthand when Boardman lost, because like I said, after that game on the next show, there was none of those kids had to be pulled to the handshake line or told 3 or 4 times, like, we have to shake hands after that tough loss. Even the kid that got the last out, he was obviously upset. I forget his name. But he threw his helmet down. He was upset that he lined out to the third baseman. But then he went right to that third baseline, lined up for the handshakes. Yeah. Like, you don't have to tell those kids how to do things the right way.
I mean, this is a world we put a lot of pressure on kids. And it's not, it's not just, it's younger than 10U. And you look at that and you go, a 10-year-old, man. A 10-year-old. Like, these kids are playing for fun. They're playing because it's, again, to be with their buddies. It keeps them out of trouble in the summertime. It gives them something to do. Like, the amount of pressure that these kids have on them. I mean, look at the 12U, the Little League World Series that we'll see here in about a month. It's nuts. It's crazy to think about how much pressure we as parents feel, and these kids just go out and play baseball. They do what they love. And I think it's a testament to the coaches that keep it light. New Albany's coaches were phenomenal, just phenomenal. They kept telling their kids, why not us? Why not us? They got to beat us too. And the kids bought into it, and after they won that first game, you kept saying, you kept hearing them say, one more game. We've done it 100 times. One more game. And I think that was, they bought into their own press clippings, and that's cool sometimes. So it was awesome.
DJ, super teams are back into the fray as we see Russell Westbrook go to the Lakers. We can't seem to escape this word super team that keeps popping up. And I know, you've talked about it a lot. I feel like we're going to disagree a little bit on this because in my perspective, we put so much pressure on athletes to win championships. It's on their value as an individual athlete. Anytime you compare somebody, we say, how many championships have they won?
Yep.
Dan Marino will never be the best quarterback ever because he hasn't won a Super Bowl.
Right.
So now we're saying not only do you have to win championships, but you have to win them the right way.
Yeah.
You have to win championships and win them the right way. So I feel like it's Captain America. Whatever it takes to win a championship, go out and win a championship.
Well, here's the thing is it devalues the championship to me because, I mean, Giannis did it the right way. You want to talk like he did it the right way. He had every opportunity to leave. He had every opportunity to get traded. Wanted in a small market in Milwaukee. He's got a new fan in me, but he did that, and he does things the right way. He does. LeBron, I think LeBron's been under pressure since he was 14 years old, right? He's 36. He's going to sit there and say that he had nothing to do with this, and I'm going to call BS again. This was something where LeBron James concocted another, like he goes and wins another one. Like you still haven't won one by yourself. To me, he'll never be the greatest because he can't win by himself. He can't just go to a place. Even when he came back to Cleveland, it was his team, yes, but Kyrie took the last shot. Kyrie took the championship, and you can say whatever you want about the block and the defense of Kevin Love and stuff like that. But Kyrie had the ball in his hands the last play of the game. You know what I mean? The most important player of the game. So when you look at it, you go, this is just LeBron chasing championships. So he can say he won 6 and he's equal to Michael. Besides Rodman, who did Michael recruit? And I don't even think Michael recruited Rodman. I think that was a front office thing. Michael's not out there trying to bring people to him and say, hey, let's go win a championship. Like I get the sales mentality of it, but Michael believed in his own talents. LeBron oftentimes reminds me of a scared little boy that needs his friends around him so that when people pick on him or he gets double teamed, he's got someone to outlet it to and he can still win. It's not him winning it. Jordan was never afraid of a double team. And
to get past, this isn't just on LeBron. Like Russell Westbrook, he hasn't won one.
He sucks.
And he's going to a team trying to chase championships too.
Russell Westbrook does nothing for me because he's a ball hog that he's been the cancer on many teams.
Right.
And now he's going to go to Los Angeles. Like I was having this conversation with somebody else and I said, he's going to ruin whatever LeBron has out there. LeBron might be moved.
Okay, that being said, they win with him. Isn't that a feat? They're taking a guy that's always cancer. They're taking a guy that's always toxic.
They're not going to win.
But I'm saying if they do, then okay, something happened that was special. They got Russell Westbrook to
How
kind
many
of feed into
basketballs
this.
they have on one court?
One.
Yeah, and you got a guy that's going to put up 40 a night, 40 shots, and LeBron James and AD. Like, how many are they going to score? 200. Like they have to in order to make everybody happy, and it's not going to happen. Teams are figuring out how to beat super teams, and
we saw it this year.
Yeah, and with the health problems that LeBron's having and AD, is it going to be 2-on-5? Because they gave up a lot to get Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
So
Kuzma's gone.
Best of luck to you. Like you're going to play 3-on-5. Good luck. I hate the Lakers. I hate them now. I hate them because I'm so tired of it being about LeBron James. Like the NBA is not good right now when it's just LeBron James. I love that it's Giannis's time. I think the NBA needs a little bit of diversity within their teams because how boring is it that every time, like they pat themselves on the back and they go, LeBron James has been in 35 straight NBA final. How is that fun? Like, I know every LeBron lover is going to sit there and go, oh, that's LeBron's fault. No, I get it. I understand it. But at the end of the day, like, the dude just continues to train hop from station to station, finding where people, the organizations have money to spend, and they can bring in people around him. Like, but he also leaves complete chaos in his wake. Like, the Cavs now have Ricky Rubio.
And they're happy about it.
What are they doing? Like, unless they're excited about the girls he's bringing to the games and some of the beautiful women that he will bring in to Cleveland. Why are we excited about Ricky Rubio? The guy just, like, he's I haven't heard of him since he got drafted. I take that back. I heard about him on a Gary Vee thing where he was talking about how his work ethic's awful. So, like, be excited because we got a name, Ricky Rubio. Sorry, pass.
Wasn't he the guy that got drafted but then couldn't get to the country for a while because he had like a dispute with getting here from Spain or something like that?
I've heard so many stories about this cat. Just like, I mean, you saw his highlight tape and he dishes and he can do it all. And he's the next, Manu Ginobili. I didn't know he was still in the league. I'm going to be honest with you. Had no clue. Where was he? Minnesota? I don't know. I have no clue. Minnesota had the other kid that we had to trade away to get LeBron. Who was that? He's Canadian, wasn't he? I forget. I'm not an NBA guy as much as I used to be. But
this year kind of proved. I think there's this stigma that if you build a super team, all of a sudden it's like an easy path to the championship. And this is outside of just LeBron. Even if you're talking about KD doing what he's doing in Brooklyn, this year kind of proved that it's not just show up in your sweats because you have a lot of good players and you win a championship, because all the super teams lost in the playoffs this year for one reason or another.
KD doesn't, like, I feel like nobody wants KD. You know what I mean? Because
after his injury, everyone's like, well, he's not KD anymore.
But he is. That's the nutty part is KD is still guarding some of the best, talent on the floor. LeBron's going to change his form a little bit and start guarding some bigger guys, and bang bodies, because you can see he's losing a step. Mm-hmm. And with the injuries that he's sustaining, it's going to be a tough ride for him. Super teams, I don't like them.
I think our sports culture deserves some of the blame for it. That's just my overall point, because we've put so much value on an individual, on whether or not they win a championship, that we've kind of forced them into a corner to say, do whatever it takes to go win a championship.
Yeah, I guess I can see that point, but I also sit on the other side and go, what, you're going to sell your soul to the devil in order to go win a championship? I would rather win one championship with guys, that I had coming up, like my OGs, my friends, than sell myself out and go win because I had 2 or 3 other guys that were all-stars. Like, I get it. You're a high-profile player, and you want other high-profile players on your team because they understand the way your life is. But again, in basketball, if you've got 2 or 3 all-stars, that makes up 60% of your team. And you better have 2 other guys. If it's 3 all-stars, you have to have 2 guys that are super unselfish and are just sitting there going, I'll collect the ring at the end. Like Robert Horry, my guy has like 7 rings. Never was complained about it, but the Spurs were a different kind of super team. Spurs were home-based, homegrown. And I don't know. I think it's hard for organizations to do that nowadays. So they'd rather just go into free agency or trade for people and instead of having to do their due diligence and win through building a program. The problem is, I think it filters down to college now. And I certainly am looking and seeing it filtering down into the high school ranks, and that's terrifying.
Scary thing is, Michael did prove that he could build a super team. He just didn't do it in the NBA. He did it with the national team. And he said, you guys, we're going to come make a dream team, and we're done being the laughingstock in international basketball.
But shouldn't that be the way it is?
And that's that. I mean, imagine if he took that attitude and did it with the NBA, and he proved he could have, and he never did, which I think is
and I think they took his blueprint from the Dream Team and brought it to the NBA and said, hey, you know what? We don't have to wait every 4 years. We can do this. But I've yet to see a super team that lasts. I mean, go back to the Lakers of Shaq and Karl Malone and Gary Payton and Kobe, and like they didn't last. And as a matter of fact, they weren't good because they had too many guys on the team. I've yet, and LeBron, his super teams don't last. 2-3 years and he's gone. He moves on. The longest one was probably the Heat. Probably
3 or 4 years. Yeah.
So, I mean, you look at that, there's a reason they don't last is because guys get tired of each other. You know, that guy doesn't show up to practice. This guy, holds the ball too long. This guy's got too many points. This guy's like LeBron James could do triple doubles every night if he wanted to, right? But he says, well, I got to make sure my other guys get the ball until LeBron needs headlines, and then LeBron goes triple double. So excuse me if I don't feel bad for LeBron James. But it's true. Like super teams don't last, but dynasties, the Spurs, that lasts. And there's nothing that anybody can ever take away from Tim Duncan or Manu Ginobili or Tony Parker, and some of the players they had on their team, because they were built for the long run. They just committed to each other and went. And there's a lot to be, even though I wasn't necessarily a Spurs fan during the height of their dynasty because they would kick the crap out of the Cavs every year. You have to respect what they did because they did it with homegrown product. And that's why you look at Springfields and you look at some of these college teams that commit to each other. And when they win, you're excited for them. Even if you don't like them, you're excited for them.
And you talk about homegrown as we shift to the Olympics a little bit. I don't know if you saw this article on ESPN, but the Mexican national softball team in a little bit of trouble because, one, it's a softball team that's made up of all but one American-born girls that are Mexican heritage. And apparently they left a lot of their merchandise and a lot of their jerseys in the trash in Tokyo and then left Tokyo. And a lot of Mexican national people and Mexican athletes are not happy at all with that situation. Now, they claim that they just didn't have enough room in their luggage. They didn't have enough room to take everything. So they took one pair of uniform and that's all they could pack with all the other stuff they have to travel with softball, catcher's gear, yada, yada, yada. As a proud American, I mean, if we had an Olympic team that was built up of other nationality people that were American heritage, and they kind of pulled something like that, what would that kind of give you a sense of as an American citizen?
Anytime you throw away something with the American flag on, I get pissed.
Right.
I get upset. I don't care if there's a proper way to do it. And, technically you're not even supposed to wear an American flag on clothing. You know what I mean? It's in kind of the rules of the United States is that it should not be worn on clothing. There's a certain way that the flag has to look if it's on your right arm, if it's on your left arm.
I remember I broke that rule.
Yeah, you sure did. You went upside down. So when you look at it, it's unfortunate. My only thing is when you roll the dice on people that are not necessarily your heritage, your culture, this is the kind of stuff you're going to deal with. I mean, probably, and I'm just taking a guess, not good enough, didn't make the American squad, or else they probably would have been on the American team. So, the Mexican national team said, hey, we'll take you as one of our own because you have maybe a little bit of Mexican heritage, and great. But if I'm that program and I see that, see you later. Like, you're never coming back, ever. You don't treat our stuff like that. Like, worst case scenario, let us know and we'll package it up for you and we'll sell it.
That's my thing. Why can't we ship it? Like, why can't we pack it in Tokyo and then ship it at a later date?
It's ridiculous. That's a cop out to say that, we didn't have enough room. So how did you get it there? How did you get it there? What did you go get some tchotchkes in Tokyo while you weren't winning? So it's a cop out, and the thing is, if that story would have ever come out, and I maybe not anymore, because I'm so confused with what culture we're supposed to be, because we're supposed to be hard ass Americans, and at the same time we're soft, super soft with some of the takes that we have. There was a point in time that Olympians were proud of who they represented as opposed to who's signing their paychecks. And there was anybody in America would be honored to go out and do backflips and play softball or play baseball or run 100 with their country proudly represented on their tights or their clothing. I don't think we're there anymore. I think these athletes, not all of them, but some of the big names are more about their Subway sandwiches and their brand recognition and their marketing machines. And it's unfortunate. I get it. Listen, because we do the same thing. We have to make money and we make it off of sponsors and advertising, but we're not one athlete. And, when that becomes more of a priority than representing your country, I think that we've got things backwards. Mm-hmm. And that is just a perfect, to throw away your jerseys, your uniform. If it's your cleats, I get it. I understand it. They stink. You've used them, whatever. But even think about, and I know there's not much of a crowd over there, but trade off. They do in the NFL. Trade jerseys. Do that with another, so you have something of substance to remember it by. If you're going to keep your jersey, don't throw them away. And I'll be honest with you, if I was in Tokyo, I would have went dumpster diving for those jerseys and sold them on eBay. It's such a disrespectful thing.
And you know what? They lost the bronze medal game, and I feel like that wouldn't have happened if they won a medal. They would, we're super proud of our team because but then they didn't win a medal, and it's kind of okay, let's just shake that off. We were using our heritage to kind of hold ourselves to a high esteem, not really because we were proud to represent the country, but because we just wanted to have the opportunity to go win a medal. And I feel if they won, they wouldn't have done it.
It comes down to pride.
Right.
It comes down to pride. I'll never forget, and I hate to bring him back up, but when LeBron walked off and took the jersey off after they lost to the Celtics, disgusted. Wait to get to the locker room. And then if you want to throw that jersey around or burn it or whatever you want to do, fine, as long as we don't have to see it. Because somewhere there is a 10-year-old watching every move that you make, and you are his whole world or her whole world. So from the Mexican national team, there's a young girl that wants to be where those ladies are one day and be on and represent her country. For them to throw those jerseys away, they let her down. And it's unfortunate because now that 10-year-old thinks that it's okay to trash her team publicly, And then I'm not trying to trump this whole thing and make it a whole big deal, but we've seen it happen. Mm-hmm. We've seen it happen. It's okay to do this because they did it. You're a hero at that point. You're somebody's hero. And whether you know it or not, when you're on the national stage like that, the world stage of the Olympics, you can't just – everything's under a microscope. And when you make stupid mistakes, guess what happens? They're magnified. And when you make great things happen, guess what? It's magnified. So you have to make a choice every day, every minute, every second of what you're going to do. And they made a bad choice. Do they have to live with it? They do. And it's unfortunate because, man, if I'm Mexico, see you later.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because it was their first Olympics that they'd made as a national team. So before that moment, super proud of that team as a country to make the first Olympic Games and to get their first Olympic win under their belt and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, it's I
was a little, and maybe you can help me on this. I was a little kind of peeved that they kept talking about softball getting more recognition as a I don't know if it's a world sport or what. Softball, I'm sorry, it's not really out of the line, out of the spotlight anymore.
No, not in this country, but in the international realm, it kind of is because that was the first Olympics that had been on the docket for 13 years, and it's out again in Paris,
which is stupid. I don't understand that. Why is it out again?
Oh,
I mean, there's more people that watch the college softball World Series that do the college baseball World Series
Right.
that I know.
Right.
You know, they can fudge the numbers however they want, but you and I both know that people walk into this office and they're talking about the college World Series of softball.
Yeah.
I'm really interested as to, like, how do you have skateboarding, but you drop softball?
And Paris is going to have surfing in Tahiti. It's not even going to be surfing in, because you can't surf in France. It's landlocked.
Right.
So, but they're going to keep surfing. It's one of
And
those.
like, I get it. I mean, the Olympics have been, for a long time, some of the sports that don't get recognized on a world stage. Softball, I know you don't feel the same way. I feel softball is probably one of the up and coming sports publicly, like on the national stage, on the world stage, because you're going to get some of these players from Tokyo. It is a professional sport in Tokyo, in Japan, as we heard about. You know, some of our players play over there, but softball is one of the sports that should always be in. Baseball the same way. It's unless you're not getting the people to do it. You know, I know there's always the fight of, should we shut down Major League Baseball for, 4 weeks or 3 weeks while they do the Olympics? Don't they have the World Baseball, whatever it is, every 2 years or whatever?
The World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, the World Baseball Classic. Like, do we really need it anymore? Like, if you wanted to get baseball out of there, I'm okay with it. But softball should have the World Softball Classic every 2 years. That's what it should be. And if they're not doing that, shame on them.
That was the knock on baseball. I think it was that we never had the best baseball had to offer in the Olympics because there was just no way to do it.
Well, it's the same as basketball, right?
Right.
For the longest time, we had those college kids like Mitch Richmond. Was on the last college USA team. But then we just, like you said, Michael got tired of USA not being the best in basketball. Because there is something to it that when you are not the best in your sport at the Olympics, is the NBA really the best in the world? The best organization in the world?
That's starting to come into question.
Yeah, well,
this year.
It's because it's soft. I mean, if you watch the Olympic basketball, it's a completely different brand.
Yeah, it is. It's my opinion. It's actually basketball. When I watch the NBA, it's like it's a show. They're playing basketball, but it's a show.
Yeah, it's a shooting contest.
Right,
is what it is. I am really, really excited. I hope this 3-on-3 thing takes off here in this country. It's phenomenal to watch. It's big boy basketball, and it's the same stuff we talked about on Power Hour. It's the same stuff we can go do, 3-on-3 in our backyard. Not everybody has access to an entire court, so it's kind of nice to have just one hoop, and you got to check it up every time. It's neat, and I hate to be that guy because there's going to be a lot of people that get pissed, but at the end of the day, I think 3-on-3 is the future of basketball.
We're seeing there's a 3-on-3 league that's getting TV deals.
The Ice Cube?
And it's growing.
Ice Cube?
So there's definitely a market for that.
And it should be, because I fell in love with it. I fell in love. I like handball too.
You took my advice and checked it out, didn't you?
I did. Well, it just popped on. I was like, what is this? I said, this has to be handball.
Right.
And I love it. I think it's really, really cool. So I'll be looking into that a lot more. Rugby, I still scares the bejesus out of me. I watch it and I'm like, oh boy, like entertaining, like watching a car crash, not like watching football.
Too many times you have to stop and ask yourself, is that guy okay?
Yeah, you get hit in the ear, man. Like I saw a guy get hit in the ear and I was like, he's dead.
Somebody check on him.
He's dead. Yeah, time out. I don't know. Like I watch I love the Olympics.
I love it.
I love the Olympics. I'm watching them right now, and they're doing the diving, which my wife loves the diving, and the swimming and stuff like that. And I had to explain to her why swimming's on 13 hours later, and she's like, "This doesn't make any sense. Like, why is that always swimming?" And I said, "Well, because swimming gets the ratings.
Right.
Like people love swimming and diving, and that's why it gets the ratings. Same as like bobsled when it's the Winter Games and ice skating or figure skating." It's hard to get excited about curling for most people, but us,
I love curling.
We love it. Yeah, man, the Mexican thing throws me off. That's the first I heard of that, and it kind of pisses me off.
Like if an American team did that was made up of non American nationals, it would just get out.
Pack your bags.
You know?
You better start saying A a whole lot or C.
I don't care if we never get to another Olympics again in that sport. We're gonna do it. We're gonna ride with our guys that aren't gonna pull that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you saw some of the interviews after the gold medal game with the Americans and the Japanese, and it's okay to be disappointed. It's not okay to take it out on your country. Like your country presented you the opportunity,
especially when it's not your country. Like it's not really. It's kind of your country,
right?
Because you're a little bit of a heritage, but it's not where you're not a citizen.
I don't like that at all either. Like if you're not a citizen of the country and you can't make your country's team, then you don't get to go. Sorry. Like you don't just get to play like.
Well, my grandma was born in Australia, so.
Yeah, like I'm German and English, and like if we were doing Olympics and I wasn't the best American, like wait a minute, so I get to pick from Germany and England and no, it's not how it works.
Go live there for 2 years, then join the Olympic team.
There you go, because now you're taking spots away from actual citizens. And listen, you're supposed to be representative of your country, the country you live in, and abide by the rules and laws. If that's not your country, like stuff like this happens because you just go, you know what, screw it, trash. And
the trash I couldn't believe it.
Like
I know some of those girls.
Just act like you forgot.
Just
leave it in a locker and be like, oh crap, sorry, send it to us. Yeah, see, there you go.
You had to know that would be the worst optic ever for someone to find a Mexican national anything.
Who was the
in the trash
that found
another Mexican athlete in the Olympic Village because they were in the Olympic Village trash cans, and then another Olympic athlete tweeted out a picture of stuff from the opening ceremony too. Like their opening ceremony garbs were in the trash.
You're telling me you don't want that stuff? Now, I did see some of the opening ceremony garb.
Yeah, some of it was.
Who was it? Australia.
Italy. Remember Italy's?
Australia looked like they were Girl Scouts. I mean, the one guy didn't have a shirt on. I mean, listen, how often do you get to say you're an Olympian? And who am I to say that?
Italy's looked like they were workers from Sbarro on lunch break because they had like the triangle Italy colors.
Yeah, but U.S. looked like. I mean, I can't even tell you what they look like.
I feel like they always do the same. It's just a sports coat with the Olympic.
They got
badge.
the Ralph Lauren,
right?
Or Ralph Lauren, however you want to pronounce it, stuff. But the flag that they had going on was like some were a bandana, some were using it as masks, some people were using it as a come on, man! Like this isn't an episode of NCIS. Like you're representing your country, and we're supposed to look good, but again. To use the flag in that way, like wear it proudly, wear it with the utmost pride because you should be proud of your country. If you're going to represent us, you should be proud of it. If you don't like it, get the hell out. I'll give you a crew cut.
One of the things when the fencer won the gold medal, she was so excited to grab that flag and hold it up like the picture of she didn't realize that it was upside down.
Oh,
so she. But that's one of the that like you love that someone's like the first thing they did was go and grab the flag because they want to represent their country and put their flag on their back after they won a gold medal.
I can't imagine. I've never gotten emotional over when they play the national anthem. I did in that moment because now as a parent you sit there and you look and you think like you weren't there. You've gone how many times to 6 a.m. practices or for these swimmers or ice skaters, 4 a.m. to get ice time or pool time, and you're not allowed to go watch your kid. And like was so proud in that moment because she wasn't the favorite. She swam the place to live in the face of this earth. And I firmly believe that. And I love when athletes represent that. And Jacoby did that.
The great thing about her story was there's only one Olympic-sized pool in her whole state. I mean, she was training on a 25-meter pool in a state that obviously doesn't take swimming too seriously.
Well,
Talk about just putting that work together.
Yeah, I mean, that would be like an ice skater coming from Texas.
Right.
You're sitting there and you go, wait a minute, it's 99 degrees most of the time in southern Texas. How does that work? Like, you get ice time. But you look at it and you go, that's the beauty of American sports is we come from all over. We all look different. And, at the end of the day, we just want to compete. And competition is I think we talked about this the other day. Competition is what makes us great. And whether you come from Alaska or, Southern Florida, you're still part of these 50 states that represent our great country. And she proved that you don't need necessarily the best of everything in order to be an Olympic medalist and to show heart and to work your ass off in order to be the best in the world. And it was it was awesome. It was awesome. And I got emotional during the national anthem because, that's a great story. It's an honor to be able to say that we live in the same country as a person like that.
Well, a couple of days ago, you talked about the mentality of America to get back up when you're knocked down. Gymnastics, man, Simone Biles is gone, and everyone's thinking, there goes our best chance at a gold medal. And here comes
Suni Lee.
Suni Lee.
Woo!
Woo!
Let's go. Everybody's talking about the big names, right? They talk about the Michael Phelps. They talk about, the Ryan Lochte at one point, Simone Biles. I love the underdog that comes out. And Suni Lee, last night, she was up against it, man. And the thing that really kind of irked me was when she was on the floor doing her routine or getting ready to do a routine, she had to wait forever.
Yep.
And she had to do the same thing
With
when
her
she
beam.
was on the beam.
Yep.
And I'm like, as if it's not tough enough to be on that stage and have all the eyes watching you and all the cameras and stuff like that. We're going to make her wait. We can't find another facility to kind of split those up in. But she did it, man. She did it. She knocked it out of the park, and she was so proud. And what is that? The fifth straight American? Like, that's not exactly our go-to. You know what I mean? Like, when people think of America, they don't think of gymnasts because Russia and China and Japan and where was the other place? Australia. So good for our gymnast program, because 5 straight, that's a dynasty to me.
And to do it after all the stuff that's been going on in USA Gymnastics over the last 4 years, and to come back from that and to still have a gold medal, all around gymnast.
It's 20 years of domination.
Right.
That's amazing. 21 years now of domination. Since 2000, America has owned gym. What do we call it? It's not gymnasium. It's gymnast.
Gymnastics. I
guess it's just gymnastics. Yeah.
We've owned gymnastics.
We've owned and that's. I can't believe I messed that up. I can't believe that was the one word that didn't click. I'm sitting there like gymnasium.
It's a Friday. It's been a long week.
I'm just so proud. I'm proud again because I haven't seen the medal count today. But are we still trailing? Or we have the lead?
I think we have the lead.
Okay. Listen, we win world wars and we win Olympics.
Let's go.
So you want to mess with America? Come on, baby.
We're like in World War I, we're like that team that kind of comes in late and we're like, yeah, we won.
Yeah.
We entered 1 year after undefeated.
We're here. You can go home now. We do have breaking news out of Ysn that we broke via Mike Kernan himself. And Mike Kernan, the Ysn head basketball coach for girls, we reported he stepped down. He's also stepped down after the softball season. Was the coach of the year in basketball and in softball. And he is heading to Florida to become a college softball coach at Ava Marie in Florida, college, university. I don't know what it is. The story's on ysnlive.com right now. So you'll have to forgive me. There's been a lot of breaking news today that we've been trying to cover with our main guy that covers all the breaking news on the air. So I've been trying to play Anthony for the last 3 hours. But I mean, Mike Kernan is a great guy, great coach, and he's been a great coach for so long.
That's a bittersweet moment because you're so happy for the guy to take that step up in his career and to take the next level of coaching.
But you're gonna miss him.
You're that's a big loss for the softball community in the area.
He's a guy that loves the game of softball, and he's got swagger, to be softball you. And I'm sure he'll take that right to the ranks of college. But to go from Ohio to Florida, it's going to give some great opportunity for him to build a program year round. And, he's put a lot of girls into universities to play softball. So proud of him. Like you said, Dan, it's a bittersweet moment. Couldn't be happier for him. I know this is probably a tough decision. A lot of good coming from it for him and a lot of stuff that, maybe he never thought of, because he's been a high school coach for so long and used to be in the insurance game and sold his insurance agency. And is doing well for himself. So best of luck to Coach Kernan. We love him. We'll miss him. And I don't think Ursuline softball will ever quite be the same without him, but I'm sure they'll be able to draw some interest from some great coaches.
You just now, you wonder, you hope that another coach will take up the mantle of being not just a softball, in Ursuline, but also the community. I mean, Kernan put together a wonderful cancer tournament at McCoon Park, and he put that on his shoulders. So hopefully another coach in the area steps up and leads the softball community in the area, not just his own individual team.
I should have seen it coming. Like we talk a lot, and Coach was talking about, hey, this might be something that I'd love somebody else to pick up. I didn't think anything of it. I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, that'd be awesome. Maybe he's just burnt out a little bit. And then it was, hey, do you have a picture that I could use for a press release? And I'm like, sure, yeah, here you go. And I'm like, not connecting the dots. And then whenever he sends me a text today, and you know what's best about him is he, in his press release, he used YSN, which he didn't have to do. And he did because he loves what we do and he appreciates what we do. So can't thank him enough. Happy for him. Sad to see him go. But, that's a coach in this area that's going to be hard to replace for that program. And you look at John DeSantis, who's the AD, who's already, I'm sure, working on it. But he's also the offensive coordinator of the Ursuline football team. And we're 2 days away from football starting. So it's really interesting to me to see kind of all this stuff happen, because I feel like August 1st is the unofficial beginning of the fall year. You know what I mean? Because everybody's been waiting and just kind of dragging their feet. And now August 1st, everybody's back in school. Everybody's doing, like, all these emails will come back to us that we sent 3 months ago. But it's, again, bittersweet moment. Happy for him to take that next, because it takes a special person to coach at the college level.
We talk about a lot of the great coaching in our area. We've been blessed that a lot of coaches haven't taken other, because there are plenty of coaches that probably could have had the opportunity to go to the next level at some point in their career. We've been blessed that this area has a lot of coaches that forego that. And a
lot of them are moms and dads,
right?
You know what I mean? So it makes it a little bit easier to say no, because unless you're getting a coaching spot where your kid's going, you're like, I've got 20 more kids that I've got to look after on the way up. And you get to a point in life where you're like, is it worth having to rebuild again? And some of these coaches think it is, and some of these coaches think it's not. And you have to respect that one way or the other, because it's difficult to start over. Anytime you're doing something new, it's difficult. I mean, think about starting a new job, starting a new show, picking up a show where it's left. It's a challenge, but it's a challenge that sometimes it's the right time, the right place, and the right opportunity that you do it. And I think that's what Coach Kernan has, with moving on from Ursuline. It had to be the right one. And if you ever see how happy he is in Myrtle Beach, and I've seen it, he loves warm weather, and I wish him all the best.
He's going to get a lot of it.
He's going to get a ton of it in Florida. So best of luck, Coach.
We're so happy for you, and hope you dodge raindrops because it rains every day in Florida.
Every day?
Yeah, well, that's what Floridians say. It's going to probably rain for an hour every day, at least an hour.
It's like Jamaica. That's what they told us in Jamaica. Is it rains every day for like 10 minutes and then you're good. I didn't know that was the same in Florida. I thought Florida was like just crazy people and monsoons.
You go down to Florida and you can have a good bet that every day you'll get at least a half an hour, just a little rainstorm that comes in.
I didn't know.
Especially if you're on one of like the coasts.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Off the ocean.
Well,
and then especially during storm season.
I'll get down to Orlando. That's about as far as I'll get, I'm sure, with the girls and all the stuff that they want to do. Like I won't ever see the outside of Florida except the four walls of Disney.
The Mickey Mouse ears. That's it. That's all you get to say.
Stay here.
Don't go to Universal. No.
Boy.
Oh boy. When we talk about what's coming up on the network in the next couple of weeks and things to gear people up towards the start of fall season, to talk about some of the things that we're going to be having to keep people engaged a little bit before football and volleyball start.
Yeah, a little secret around here. August 11th, we will have the Mahoning Valley Coaches Association. We've officially partnered with them for the next 2 years at least to be their media outlet. So the Jack Arvin Classic that they typically have will now be presented on YSN. Their all-star games will be there. We'll also have interviews with some of their coaches and their leaders. But one of the cool things that they do that I always loved was they always had this almost a party for the official start of the football season every year on the radio. And Todd Thorne, who has been an advocate for YSN since I've known him, has stepped in as kind of like the mediator between YSN and the MVCA. And we will be hosting on August 11th, we will be hosting kind of what they do, their party. So coaches come in, they talk about their teams all in one place. There's going to be a little bit of beverages. There's going to be a little bit of food. And we can break bread with some of these coaches. And we're going to do it with cameras and microphones and talk about the excitement of football season being at that point 8 days away. So, August 19th is ground zero for 2021 football. We're ready. We're prepared. We're trying to make it a lot easier for people to access this year. Last year we did the pay-per-view model. We're working feverishly to do away with that the best we can. So right now we're looking for presenting sponsors of the season. So if anybody out there is interested in helping a lot of people out, we're expecting about 4 million views this year for football season if we can make it for free. Last year we had just north of 1.4 million that tuned in, and we're excited to do this. We, as much money as we made, we gave a greater portion of it away. Over 60% we gave back to either the schools or the OHSAA. So we're looking to do things a little bit different. We want people to watch this stuff and be able to watch from the comfort of their own home, or, from the stadium or wherever they're at in the world, like we do on YSN. We want people to be able to watch. So
tomorrow morning, we have a big championship swim meet being broadcasted on YSN. We talked to Coach Cordone yesterday. How about this? 8 different club teams, but 60 different events at the Applewood Swim Club tomorrow morning.
It's wild. And, I love when they come to us. We've already had a couple people question about where they can watch it. We're just going to post it on Boardman because Boardman's the one that does this.
Right.
They're the one that asked us to do it. So it'll be on the Boardman YSN channel. We'll probably throughout the day, because I think it's the only thing going. I think we'll probably just put it up on Facebook as well and feature it there. So it's just, the stuff that we do, it never ceases to amaze me. And I'm the guy that, like, I have to pinch myself sometimes and be like, is this real? Like, is this really happening? Because when we started, we were in a pumpkin patch announcing a football game, and now we're announcing, this swim meets and 10U baseball state championships. Like, we're so fortunate, and we're so fortunate for the people that watch, I know that one of the biggest fans we have listening right now, guaranteed, Jack Gerdick of Channel 21 WFMJ, got to sit down with him and talk about some of the plans that we have. The sky's the limit, man. The sky's the limit. And it's guys like Jack Gerdick who believed in us since day one that are fans like us that make stuff like this possible. So I'm excited for the future of YSN. I'm excited for the future of our partnership between us and WFMJ in every aspect of it. I know we're going to do some special stuff for this football season. I'm excited for you, to be able to lead a whole new generation of talk shows. Mike Ackelson, who's going to be back for Audible
I
Call.
miss that guy. I can't wait to get him
too.
back in.
I can't wait. He's probably, if it wasn't, for some of the fans that we know, like the rabid fans that we have, the YS Nation and
Right.
the Misfit Mafia, as we're calling ourselves now, it's Mike Ackleson's been a huge, huge fan, and now he loves being part of this team more than anybody that I know. He's just head over heels. So he's chomping at the bit because, I mean, when you go, 3/4 of the year without, doing anything in the sports world for what you love to do, Mikey's ready. He's ready. Nick's ready. And, it's going to be a fun time. And the thing that I'm most excited is more volleyball, more soccer, and more football. When you didn't think we could do any more, we're digging deeper. And kudos to you and all the guys here at YSN.
We got to talk to Coach Howard to start the show, and man, they start the day after football season with a big matchup against Lakeview, and it's like, now football's the little appetizer for volleyball. You get boom, boom, boom.
I'm just gonna guess you're gonna be there.
I'll be there.
I was gonna say
I'll be there.
You probably already marked your calendar.
I'm gonna mark that one.
Told Paul.
August 21st at noon. I think it's at Crestview.
I mean, we're there.
Right.
And that's what we want to do. Do we guarantee that we're going to be at every volleyball? No, we don't, because there's a lot of volleyball and a lot of soccer. There's 10 football games, like it's a little easier to capture that and to plan for that. But we are going to get to as many as we can.
I'm sure all we can really promise is that we're going to aim to do better than we've done. You know what I mean? I mean, we always want to get better. So even we're happy with the volleyball and the soccer that we did last year. Let's get better.
Yeah,
let's
I think
always get better.
We did close to 300 games total last fall, and the majority of those being football. You and I took the heavy load of the volleyball, and I'm not sure. I know we had a couple soccer games, but now we're going to go over 300, and I want that guarantee that we're going to be over 300. Basketball, it was 753 games. I went over 1,000. How do we do that? I don't know. We're going to find a way to do it. Baseball, we had over 500 games in the spring with softball. We're going to crank it up to 750. Everything we do, we're going to push the envelope, and that's a promise, because we're not going to stop trying to get better. We're the only one. It's like being in a swimming pool and we're the only ones in the pool. How do you get better if you don't push yourself?
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to look at the competitor next to you in the lane and say, okay, this person is a length and a half ahead of me. You got to be able to push yourself when there's nobody else around you, because right now we look around, there's nobody else in our pool. Nobody's streaming and doing what we do at the level we do it. And I'm not just talking about regionally, I'm talking about in the country. Nobody's putting on Audible Call. So
we've done the research.
Yeah,
we know.
We've looked. and people that are excited about 17 games, go ahead and pat yourself on the back. But when we show up with 753, there's a little bit of fecal matter in your pants, I'm sure.
It's also easy to forget, but when the Astro Falcons come back, we still have the 18U Class B playoffs to wrap up. If we get to go back to Scene Park for a little bit.
It's not over, man.
It's not
It's not over. And just putting it out there that we're the only coverage team covering the Youngstown Astros in Laredo right now.
Right.
It's on our website. Big win today, another win hopefully on the way tonight at 5:00. And even when you can't watch it on YSN, we'll direct you where you can, so you can watch it and support our people, our kids.
I believe the teams remaining in that 18U tournament are Dura Edge, Athletics, Avalanche, and Astro Falcons. So
I think you're spot on.
Excited to see them kind of get back after a long pause and wrap up that season, because man, was Class B so fun this year.
Yeah, and this is going to sound really bad. We need to turn the page. We need to be all right, it's baseball's done, now it's football. Because we do that with our other sports. And the funny thing is people are talking, they're already doing stuff for football. And I get it. I understand it. With these previews, high school previews on 21 WFMJ, love them. I'm not ready because baseball's not like we still have another swim meet. We're following the Astros. We have the 18U Class B championships. And we just finished 10U baseball. Like, we're not ready to quite turn the page yet, but I'm getting there. Like, I'm getting to everybody's getting antsy about football. We're taking some heat from some people about, they haven't interviewed anybody. Like, to us, we have truly 4 seasons here. We have summer, fall, winter, spring, and we're not done with summer yet. And football, as big as it is around here, is going to have to wait its turn. And we're fortunate to be, like I said before, linked up with Dana and Corey and the guys over at Channel 21 WFMJ and their sports team, because they take a little bit of the pressure off us whenever they do that. The same way that we do when we're at 35 games, a night, and they need a highlight. They lean on us, we lean on them, and that's what a partnership's all about. That's what being a team is all about. But we're just not quite ready to give up on summer quite yet.
Baseball's the longest season, man, for us. It starts in March,
February, because we start with YSU baseball,
right?
And then
here we are in August.
We're still not done, and we'll make a quick transition to football and soccer and volleyball. And is lacrosse there too?
And then golf as well.
Golf. I mean, hey, if you're out there, you're a coach, and you want coverage of YSN, if you're not already part of the family, make sure that you're contact us. We'll get you in. It costs you absolutely nothing for the coverage. We actually end up paying you $100 a season for it, your school. And if you are a coach that's a part of the family and not getting necessarily the write-ups and things of that nature, like the reporting, please send us a message. We would love to get with you. We have no problem reporting. We just need a couple things like stats, right. Your top players, and maybe, some of the times we can get to your practices or your games or matches to get some pictures. So that way it looks nice on the website as well.
Absolutely. And for advertisers that might be wanting to partner with us, I already kind of laid out the vanilla landscape of how to go about that. But what steps should maybe some businesses that might be listening or some business owners that might be listening take to kind of partner with YSN?
So they can contact me directly, dj.yokley, YOKLEY at ysnlive.com, or info@ysnlive.com is always a good one. We have a independent sales guy, Matt Seidel, who everybody knows, that handles a lot of our advertising. From corporate to small mom and pop. I mean, you're talking about $100 a month to do advertising for your business. And that $100 goes so far. I mean, we talked about the goal of 4 million just for football season this year. Imagine 4 million people seeing your logo for $100 a month. That's unbelievable ROI right there. Mm-hmm. But it goes all the way up to $1,000 a month, and it can go higher depending on what you're looking for. Like, we have sponsorships available for our coaches corners, so you can own every coaches corner that we do. Our player profiles, player of the game, stuff like that. And again, the big one, if you're out there and you're looking for a huge impact play for your organization this year, is going to be our presenting sponsorship for all the fall sports this year. And then we're going to have one for winter sports, and we're going to have one for spring, and we'll probably combine it with summer. The dollar amount is up there, but the ROI is certainly there too, because we're coming and we're going to have you kind of introduce yourself, and people will thank you. We talked to WRS, who's our main sponsor of Audible Call this year, and they were the ones that took care of the bill for pay-per-view last year for winter sports.
Right.
And people were coming up to them in gyms and outside of their 4 walls and saying, thank you. You have no idea how much we appreciate being able to watch my son, my daughter, my grandson, my granddaughter, whoever it is, play without, what they were being forced to pay, which was $9.99. And listen, we get it. Like, we're not offended that people were mad. We were mad too. But at the end of the day, we want people to see their kids play, and we want people to see, we want people to watch the network, but we're also a business. We're not a charity. We're not a 501c3. We're working on, a foundation for a 501c3, but we're a business. Businesses have to make money. And if we're losing money, we're not going to be in business for long. So enjoy it while you can from that standpoint, because the doors are going to be shut.
And I'm sure you've been asked this before, but are we still offering if parents want to, pay for a shout out on a game or whatever, is that still available for parents to
we
do?
can always work with parents. And we had a parent package last year. It was like $99 for the year.
Right.
I loved it. It's a parent being able to say, we're proud of you, stuff like that. So parents, if you're out there and you want a parent package for your son or your daughter, give us a call at this line, coincidentally, 330-886-0813, or easier to just send us an email or contact us directly off our website.
I mean, if you want to call, we'll definitely help you out, and then we'll take your sports takes too, because we would love that.
You and that phone mod.
My phone. So we will take one more break. We'll be back to wrap this one up, and then you'll get ready for the Power Hour from 3 to 4.
That's it, buddy.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy efficient experts.
Attention, current lessees of most makes and models. Tri-State Ford has a special offer for you. Come to Tri-State Ford, turn in your lease early, and get up to $2,500 in trade equity toward a new Ford or pre-owned vehicle. Plus, our exclusive Tri-State Ford Advantage includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Early lease turn-in for most makes and models with up to $2,500 trade equity.
Customer focused, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool, or visit tristateford.net.
Welcome back to the Friday edition of Running Point, the last one of the month of July. When we come back on Monday, it will be officially August as we flip the calendar and we gear more a little bit towards fall sports. Want to thank our guest today, Alicia Auer, calling in, their head coach of the Crestview volleyball team, and Jody Bartlett calling in as well, head coach of Austintown Fitch Volleyball, and of course Cheryl Fico, head coach of the West Branch girls soccer team. Thank you to all those coaches for giving us their most valuable time as they gear up for fall sports as well. Coach Auer called us in the middle of volleyball camp, so we definitely appreciate their time. Can't thank them enough, and it's one of the reasons why we are so proud to cover the coaches that do that for us. So Power Hour coming up from 3 to 4. Next on YSN as DJ and the boys get you ready for the weekend. As we said, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., tune in to the Boardman page on ysnlive.com for the Youngstown Swim Club Championship meet. 9 a.m. start time. 8 different clubs will be involved in that meet, and 60 different events throughout the day, all on ysnlive.com. Don't miss that. And then next week we will get, I think we'll get right back into the Class B playoffs when the Astros come back from Texas. So we have a lot to look forward to in the next couple weeks on YSN. Ty Bartell will be joining me on Monday as my co-host. And we are excited to start the new era of Running Point. We have a couple of guests already lined up next week, and it's going to be an exciting time. So thank you so much for tuning in today, and have a wonderful weekend, everybody, from the T Perfect Farm Studios in East Palestine. I'm Anthony Hartwig. Yesterday we signed off with Sayonara for the Olympics. We'll keep it international for the Olympic time, and we'll say Dos Vidania today.